Namaste. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be across the planet, around the world. My name is Gregg Prescott from N5D, and you're tuned into another spirit chat. So I just want to take this time to thank everybody that has joined me or is watching on the replay, because it doesn't matter whether it's on the replay or live. You're still getting it in the moment of the now. So even if you're watching it on the replay, it is as if you're watching it in this now moment that we're broadcasting it. You're with us here live right now. So bear with me while I get a few things settled here. I want to say that a few things right off the bat. I've got gemstone and crystal expert Adrian Goff coming on at the end of the month. And of course, somebody's at the door right now. Hang on. Okay, sorry about that. I had a delivery from Amazon, and it's some wireless microphones that I'll be using for the beach meetup. Todd Medina from Sology and myself and 5D are gonna be meeting on the beach here in Sarasota at Siesta Key Beach this weekend. So if you're in the area, I'm not sure if it's specifically Saturday or Sunday. I think he's shooting for and or both. But what I'm going to be doing is I've got these wireless mics and it's called I'm looking at it right now, a Rocker Max amplifier that I can bring with me. It's a portable amplifier. So I'll be able to, if there's a lot of people there, speak through that. And if there's not, we don't need one. But anyway, I had to get that for tomorrow. Anyway, what I was saying beforehand, I was talking about at the end of the month, I have crystal and gemstone expert Adrian Goff coming on, and that'll be on Wednesday, February 26th at 12 p.m. Eastern. So at noon on the 26th, check that out. It's going to be a fun time. She's amazing. She spoke at one of my conferences. I think it was back in 2017 in Austin, Texas. You'll love her if you don't know her already. If you know her, you'll love her even more. So check that out. On the 10th, this Monday, I've got Andy Monks coming back. He'll be talking about Fruitarianism. And that goes on at 12 p.m. once again, Eastern, noon here on the East Coast. So this is a follow-up of what we had done and accomplished on our first interview that we had together, which was on the 3rd, 1 week before that. And what he ended up doing is one of my moderators on YouTube, Tracy T-Light, sent Andy pictures of her eyes, because he also does iridology. I think that's how you pronounce it. One of these days I'll learn how to pronounce that correctly. And I sent him pictures of my eyes too. And what he's going to do is basically dissect the irises in our eyes, because it can show you where you might be deficient in certain minerals or have some issues all throughout your body. It's kind of like palmistry or, phrenology, where they're looking at bumps on the head. There's different things that you can look at, you know, just like palmistry, reading the lines and stuff like that. There's certain things you can look for that will show you if you're having some kind of issue elsewhere in your body. Okay, so that's going to be fun and interesting. I'm basically out of Facebook jail. Well, kind of, not really. Well, let's put it this way. I'm still in there. All right. I'm on Facebook, but I can't post anything. I can't give you guys even a link to this Zoom that's going on Facebook. So I'm there, but I can't post any links until the 10th on Monday at 4 p.m. So I'm not going to be able to give you that link on Facebook for to join us on YouTube and or Zoom when Andy comes on the 10th. So what I recommend is that you follow me on Twitter, and that would be at Gregg, Gregg, Prescott, Prescott, and the number 1. So at Gregg Prescott 1, all one word. So check me out on Twitter because I am able to post it there. Also, I can post it on Patreon. So if you're not part of the N5D family on Patreon, you may want to consider joining us there. At the 111 level, you are alerted about the upcoming live Zoom chats, along with your name being listed on the N5D Patreon wall of eternal gratitude. At 555, we have you get those, you know, the live Zoom chats and alerted on that, and the listing of the wall of gratitude, plus ad-free articles and the Insiders Club private chat on Zoom on the first Wednesday of every month. Now, I got to learn how to do something on this. I wish I was able to record it. What I think I'm going to do is have it record to the cloud next month, and that way people can watch it all throughout the month, and it'll probably get replaced by the following one. Anyway, it was a great chat that we had last night. At 11:11, you get all that, plus the afterthoughts and exclusive mid-month energy report video. And it goes on as you go up in tiers, but I want to thank everyone that has joined us on Patreon because it's huge in helping to support this channel. This is what pays for my server, basically, which allows N5D to be up and running. So your support means a lot to me. And it also helps pay for the Zoom platform that I'm using, which is not the free one. I use the paid version of this. So thank you to everyone that is part of our Zoom family. I also want to just give a quick shout to N5D Quantum Tie-Dye, which is at n5d.net. We got n5d.com, n5d.net. So this is, if you want to see the latest stuff, just go to the sorting and sort by latest, and that's what you'll find right here. If you notice, I haven't had any live videos in the last few days. And if you look at my fingertips, that's why. That's not dirt, that's dye. So that's what happens when you dye a lot of shirts. You get dye under your nails and you can't wash it out. So yeah, I made a ton of new shirts. I think I made like 50. I couldn't, and it was so much fun because anyone who's tie-dyed can tell you this. When you're unveiling, when you're unwrapping and taking off all of the rubber bands, it's like Christmas. So, you know, that was just some right there. We go to page 2. So I've got all of these shirts except for this one. I remade a bunch of shirts that are like the popular, most popular selling ones in every size, and like ladies V-neck, just regular ladies, unisex. But I just sold this one today. It was the large, Beacon of Light large. So that's the only one I don't have right now. And that was to Marja, who ordered it this morning, and I sent it out this morning. So you should be getting it hopefully in a couple days. So yeah, but I uploaded a ton like I said, I probably made close to 50 shirts. So check that out. Lots of new stuff going on there. Yay. I'll be posting links in the YouTube chat room if you want to join us here on Zoom. I'll be covering a few things, then I'll be opening up the chat room here on Zoom. So one other thing I wanted to cover too is that, you know, if you look at my hair, it looks like it's either wet or oily. If you were to guess oily, you might be correct. What I do and have been doing is, instead of, I use this holistic shampoo, and I rarely wash my hair. My daughter's the same way. Might wash my hair once or twice a week tops. But what I end up doing, and that doesn't mean I don't shower. I shower all the time. But what I end up doing is, when I put conditioner in, what I had a natural organic conditioner, but what I started doing is I'm using coconut oil instead of the conditioner. And the coconut oil kind of makes it look like it's still wet, but my hair feels great and it smells yummy. So what I have to do is learn how to use the right amount of coconut oil, so maybe it doesn't look as wet as long. And I don't think I don't want my pillowcases being stained from coconut oil. So, Andy Monks was on the 3rd, February 3rd, and today's the 7th. So I started doing smoothies that evening, and I've been on the Fruitarian diet since I had Andy on. Okay. And since that day, I've been tracking my statistics. I've lost almost 5.5 pounds since the 3rd. And my blood sugar, which this is interesting, my blood pressure, my blood sugar actually went up. It spiked a little. It spiked the following 3 days later, it spiked up to 121. Then it dropped back down to 87, which is fantastic right now. So maybe it took an adjustment period, but it's like primo right now. Now, my blood pressure really hasn't done much. It's gone down just a little. Initially, it was 148/102, which is elevated. Definitely, that's higher blood pressure. And right now it's 143/96. So my high end has dropped 6 points, and my low end has dropped 6 points as well. So there's progress, but it's nominal in those areas. Yesterday, Andy was saying you'll have all this energy, and that was true yesterday. I was up until 5 a.m. and had all sorts of energy going on. And today, I don't know what it was, but around, and you know what? I never checked, but it could have something to do with the Schumann resonance. But around, I don't know, 1 o'clock maybe or so, I had to take a nap. So what I'm doing right now is I'm checking out the Schumann resonance to see what's going on. I should have checked that out earlier. Okay, this is interesting. I'll do a screen share on this. So this is what we're looking at the Schumann resonance. There was something that went on, that's going on right now. And we did have something a while ago, about this morning. I'm guessing, so here it is, 7. Yeah. So that was 11, or that was 12 a.m., 1, 2, between 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning, we had we had a whiteout going on yesterday, which might explain why I was up until like 5 yesterday too. Of course, it may have something to do with the diet. But we before this activity right here, we had, a stretch of silence basically on the Schumann resonance. So let me know if you guys have been feeling it too. Quick shout out to everyone in the chat room. Imelda, Kang, Val, Poetically Mistaken, Cody, Crystal, Elizabeth, Paige, Strelka, Jennifer, Bill Fatty, Skylar, Shy One, and everyone else that has joined us. Scott. Scott's saying, I'm on the fruitarian diet too, Greg. Lost 6 pounds. Energy has been up and down. I detoxed the first 2 days too. So yeah, definitely. I'm feeling you. Exactly. Same thing. Yep. Same thing, my friend. So what I have had with this fruitarian diet are cravings for food outside of fruit. And one of the things I'm really craving, it's going to sound weird, but I'm a quarter Polish. Pierogies, homemade pierogies, preferably, but pierogies. I love pierogies. I've been craving pierogies for some reason. So I'll get through it. Today I had a smoothie, which consisted of 1 banana. I find the more bananas you put in there, I love bananas, but the more you put in there, the thicker it gets, which is great if you're making a huge pitcher full. But I try to make about 16 ounces, so 1 banana is fine. Strawberries, blueberries, and POM juice, which is that POM juice that you buy at the grocery store. POM juice. It's pomegranate juice. And I added the lemon lime juice that I made when I juiced all those lemon limes. Note to self: only use a very small amount of that because it's very potent. So it looked beautiful. I had this beautiful, like creamy colored, reddish, creamy smoothie going on, but it tasted like lemon lime. And I basically had to chug that thing because I didn't want to waste it. And I knew it was going to be really good for me. So, but yeah, tomorrow, just a little. I'm not going to use quite as much. So we got people in YouTube going, yum, I love pierogies, says Skylar and MK. Yeah, me too. But yeah, I remember as a kid, when I was a kid, my grandmother made the best pierogies. My grandparents, my grandmother's Russian, my grandfather's Polish, and my grandmother made the best pierogies ever. That smell is locked into my cellular memory, and when replicators are finally here, I'm going to replicate my grandmother's pierogies and share them with the planet. They're so good. But that smell is just locked into my cellular memory. I remember walking into the kitchen and just couldn't wait until those pierogies were cooked. They were yummy. But yeah, I've been having cravings for that. Andrea is saying, Andrea Jordan, I went vegan, but my twins don't like veggies, so they are fruitarian. I can relate to your twins because I really don't like vegetables either. Everyone in my family likes vegetables except for me. It'd be easier to name the vegetables that I like instead of the ones I don't like. And the ones I like are like basically salad vegetables. And it's got to be iceberg lettuce, not the other romaine. So iceberg lettuce, cucumbers, tomatoes, which neither are really a vegetable. They're fruit because of the seeds. Cucumbers, tomatoes, carrots. That's it. For cooked vegetables, corn, which is basically just a starch, potatoes, which is yet another starch, um, corn, potatoes, green beans, everything else like broccoli, asparagus, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, ugh, nasty, mushrooms. So, but fruit, I love fruit. I'm thinking, man, I could dig being a fruitarian. But you guys know me, I'm a triple Libra, right? And for those who don't know me, this might be your first time watching this. And if it is, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so you'll know, more times when I'm on, the next time I'm on, and you can jump in and join us. Speaking of which, I'm going to paste the link in the chat room. Those links will disappear though at the end of the show. I take them out because otherwise people are going to click those links and we'll be waiting around in a chat room that will never open. It's a one-time deal. You're either in right now for this link or that's it. So yeah, make sure you hit the subscribe on there. And thank you, Phil. I appreciate the super chat. He's saying new gateway for all of us, for us all. I totally agree. Yeah. 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 This is where we are heading though. And once again, thank you to all the new people that have joined us here on in 5D on our YouTube channel, as well as in Zoom. Lots of big things are happening right now, and and we're watching all these things going on around us, but yet we're still staying in the moment, in that now moment, and that's where most of us need to really stay for the time being, at least, especially as all this chaos is going on around us. I rewatched that video. It was a Carrie Cassidy Project Camelot video where she was interviewing Bill Woods, and he was talking about the Project Looking Glass. And I remember that video when it first came out back in, early 2011 or something like that. And she reissued it, I think, after 2012. But, it basically talks about these timelines that where eventually, it goes down to two timelines, but everything eventually goes to one timeline. And it doesn't matter what either timeline does, that's where it's all heading. And that is the timeline of ascension, which is where we're heading right now. So, and that's why you see people like Nancy Pelosi ripping up, Trump's speech behind him. It doesn't matter what she does, it fails. They're trying to impeach. It will fail. If you want to look at where the light is going, that's the light. Once again, I am not Republican. I am not Democrat. I just stand in the vibration of truth, love, and light. So, but here we are with Pluto in Capricorn, which started in 2008, stays there until 2023. So here we are in Pluto in Capricorn. We've already reached the apex. The truth vibration just keeps rising and keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger. I made this prediction when Pluto first entered Capricorn. We're going to see the collapse of money, government, and religion. All three are collapsing right in front of our eyes. When Pluto, the last time that Pluto entered Capricorn was in the 1700s during both the French and American revolutions. What's going on in France right now? Revolution. What's happening in the United States? There's a coup d'etat. They're basically trying to take over to oust Trump. It's a revolution. It's a silent revolution. Of course, the mainstream media is making it look like, the left is like all saintly and anything the right does is pure evil. It's fascinating to watch. But once again, that brings us back to being centered and grounded. And that brings me back to my original point too. And I'll get back to Pluto and Capricorn. Being a fruitarian, with me being that triple Libra, probably isn't the best thing for me long term. But what impresses me is the ability for fruit to detoxify the body and for weight loss. I'm probably a good 30, 40, or 50 pounds overweight, according to what the typical weight should be. But, once again, I don't want to look emaciated either. For example, let me do a screen share here. Bear with me. There's this dude on Facebook, or on YouTube rather. Okay, he goes by Raw Bliss is his name, right? I mean, look at this dude. Look at this dude's arms. He's a fruitarian. And this video is called Why I Started Supplementing Part 1. And it's basically because, what he's supplementing is B12, okay? Which he's not getting from his fruits. And honestly, if you're a vegetarian, you're also probably B12 deficient. But those arms, he looks like I don't want to be rude, but he looks like he has AIDS. He's that skinny. So yeah, I got my belly. I got my chunk. So if you go to, the show more, you can actually go to his Facebook page. Hi, Skylar. So here's a picture of him. Now get this. This is about 2 years ago. Okay. So it's 2020. It's about a year and 3/4. He actually had arms and had a little chunk to him, right? Here's a picture with the, you can see the little chunk going on right there at the hips. But yet, flash forward to a couple years and we have this. So in about a year and 3/4, he looks very malnourished. So I can't see myself doing the fruitarian thing as a permanent lifestyle change, but I can see myself doing it to detox and to lose weight. And I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe I'll reward myself for every 10 pounds I lose. Maybe I'll have some pierogies after 10 pounds and then go back onto the fruitarian thing. Because you know what? We're here to have fun. We're not here to punish ourselves either. So I don't know. We'll see. But there's no way in hell I'll ever be that thin like that dude I was just showing you. That's no. Well, I got my love handles, trust me. And preferably, I think that looks great on women too. I think I love the little extra on women that when they have it. But I also realize that sometimes, it may not be the healthiest thing for us to have, extra weight. Although, according to some, they say that, it allows us to house more light. So that would make sense. Agatha is saying, I'm fluffy. That's okay. I think many of us are, honestly. And that's okay. Something else I want to point out. Okay. So let me screen share again. So here's my N5D page. I've been stuck at 153,000 subscribers forever. So, if you go here to my Facebook page, right? Intro, N5D gets 1 to 3 million visitors a month, which is true. 432,000 Facebook likes and 153,000 YouTube subs. And I just hit 40 million views. So yay on YouTube. So that was cool. But okay, so yeah, 153,000. That I haven't changed this number in years. It just stays there and stays there and stays there. As a matter of fact, it doesn't matter how many videos I put out, I end up losing more and more likes. And I've had people telling me, hey, I've been unsubscribed from your channel. I'm no longer getting notifications. I was unsubscribed and I didn't do that. So YouTube is unsubscribing people from channels like mine. So like I said, make sure that you are subscribed and hit that bell notification. But yeah, it gets deeper. So yeah, let's go back to that screen share and I'll show you something else. So yeah, when I did this a while ago, Facebook was at 432 likes. Now, if I go to the N5D Facebook page, of course, I'm going to post the links for our Zoom chats right there, of course. But check this out. Okay, so what we had there at the time, the last time I had done this update, and I'll have to update this again, but I wanted to leave it there for now to show you guys this tonight. Okay, so it said 432,000 likes, down to 409. So I've lost 23,000 followers. Really? It's crazy. And what's funny, and it's not even funny, I picked up 400,000 followers in probably the first 4 years. By like 2014, I had 400,000 followers. It hasn't gone up since then. As a matter of fact, apparently I'm losing followers because of, Facebook shadow banning and suppressing the truth. And this is happening not just to me, it's happening to a lot of people. So, but I'm just going out there and I have the numbers to show you and to prove it. I can show and prove it on the Wayback Machine, where before 2013, which is when they started shadow banning, by the way, on Facebook, back in 2013, any given article would get at least 1,000 likes, at least 1,000 likes. Now you're lucky to get 100 likes on any given article when you post it on Facebook. Many articles would go viral. There'd be times where, I could check my stats and there'd be like, 3,000-4,000 people on any one given article all throughout the day. So it's blatant of the shadow banning that they are doing. And that's why I do recommend also, if nothing else, subscribe to either the weekly or daily newsletter on N5D, and I'll show you where you can find that. Well, actually, one of them you can find at the end of any given article on N5D. And the other one, oops. Yeah, you can find it right here. If you're on a laptop, up on the upper right-hand side of the column, right here, subscribe to our daily or weekly newsletter, and you'll stay in the loop. So I recommend either one of those. And then when you do, you're going to have to check the junk folder because they're screwing us that way as well. They're automatically sending our emails into the junk folder. So make sure you check the junk folder too. I mean, we try and try and try. I don't know anyone that works harder than me. It's probably why I had that heart attack last year. One of the many reasons. It's multifaceted. One was to, get me to live a healthier lifestyle, to quit smoking, to eat better, and that I've done, but yeah, I have been a workaholic. I do work a lot, and I need to cut back on that too. Being that triple Libra, I need to find that balance. Whew. Okay. So I do have a few things that we can talk about, but in the meanwhile, what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste that link once again in YouTube, and I'll open up the chat room. You're all unmuted right now. If anyone wants to jump in, you're more than welcome to. Don't all rush at once.
Okay, I'll step in. Hey, Greg, how's it going?
Hey, what's up, brother?
Pretty good. I just loaded up another video with singing bowls, so
okay,
see how
cool.
that goes. But I've had a little bit of a problem with the YouTube, because like I was up to 81 subscribers, and then I was going up a subscriber a day, and then I just checked yesterday and it was like 10. I don't know how that happens, but I guess 71 people just unsubscribed all of a sudden.
No, exactly. And they're doing that, and I can prove it, and so many other channels can do the same thing. We can prove how they're screwing us every day, suppressing the amount of views as well, suppressing the thumbs up and all this stuff. It's crazy. It really is, but it's happening.
Well, I won't deny it. I mean, I can think of a few things that I've posted that might have caused me to get that status, because I did a video on I was on another video that I'd watched about this Wheaton Club or some BS like that, where they were just doing some awful stuff. So, I felt like I had to bring it out and spread it. But
good. The light always wins. So it doesn't matter. As long as you're putting out the truth, and it doesn't matter what YouTube or anything, Facebook, any of these social media outlets do, they lose in the end. That's the importance of that whole Project Looking Glass video that I rewatched earlier today. It doesn't matter what they do. They're going to do what they're going to do. So, yeah, and it is what it is, but we win in the end. So while they're, throwing everything at us, including the kitchen sink, we still win.
Yeah, I'm starting to, I'm thinking to go to like a format of what I'm calling energy blogs, where I'm going to address the human resonance, and then, read a few cards in regard to that, and do my Tibetan bowls. And I think that's basically what I'm going to do.
I think that's awesome.
It's I like the bowls. They just they resign. They're in my soul song. I'm starting to. I'm thinking to go to like a format. Why do you want to? My arms noise like. Address the human resonance, and then in regard to that, and do my Tibetan bowls. And I think that's basically what I'm going to do.
I think that's awesome.
It's all there. I like the bowls. They just they resign. They're in my soul song. I'm starting to. I'm thinking to go to like a format.
All right, we're getting a serious echo there.
No, what?
I'm like, all right, Phil, I know you just said this, but your lips aren't moving.
Yeah, and I can't do ventriloquism. I can't even pronounce it. Damn
Ventriloquism, yes, I know. Yeah. And once again, thank you for the super chat. I truly do appreciate that too.
Oh, I wish I could give more, man. I'm
It's
just
all
trying to.
good, man. If you guys are watching, tune into Phil's channel if you want to check out this new format that he's going to be doing with Schumann resonance updates and the singing bowls. Check it out. It's awesome. I would encourage everybody and anyone that's out there to start doing stuff like that. It doesn't matter whether you have 3 subscribers or 300,000 subscribers, you know, putting that out there, that information out there, it's going to reach somebody. And if you're reaching somebody, it's better than absolutely nothing, right? And you're making that difference in the world. So, you know, get out there and do it.
Yeah, I'm doing it for those 10 people.
Well,
I'm
you're going
doing
to be
it for
doing it for a
myself,
lot
really.
more. You're going to be doing it for a lot more than that, because you're going to be picking up followers on my channel, which I encourage. I encourage people to follow everybody that's on here. You know, look us up. You know, everyone that comes on here, look us up on YouTube and follow. And you know, this is your family. So follow and support.
Indeed. I'm definitely follow N5D because yeah, you get a lot of good stuff in there. And I would subscribe to his email too because there's a lot of articles there. I can't actually read them that well because of my eye and all that, but still, I like that you're doing it. It makes me feel good.
Well, there are thousands, literally thousands of articles on N5D. And there's a search bar above all that, you know, the where you can subscribe, um, where you can look up anything on N5D, and chances are you'll find it. And so, you know, it's a wonderful database for anyone that's, you know, interested in furthering their spiritual progression. And yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking another course in Ascension.
Hey, Phil, we
Uh,
got a couple people on chat. Agatha and Val are asking, what's your YouTube channel? What's your YouTube channel name?
Phil Christophers. Yeah, just my name.
Okay.
Phil
Cool.
Christophers.
Yes.
Now there's going to be a Phil Christophers rugby player. I'm not that dude.
Come on now.
No, the days of playing rugby are done. I can barely. I went out for well, I had to go to the store and I have to walk a lot because I can't drive anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I took the bus and put in about 3.5 miles, but I misstepped and I really messed up my leg. It was like, oh, it kept me off everything for about a day or so. So yeah, that's my days of football and all that are done.
Yeah. So Turner, I saw your lips moving, but I couldn't hear what you were saying. No, you're not. Now they're not moving. Okay. So I had something fun that I thought I might go through with everyone. And what I can do is I'll put the link in the chat room. Let me see if I can do this. Hang on, bear with me. Let's see if that works. Okay, yeah. Okay, so this is a link to a test that you guys can take along with me. And let me do a screen share here. And let me just hang on. I'm gonna have to mute the room real quick to get this out, but I'll come right back to the room. Okay. Okay. So here we go. And This is take the introvert extrovert test. What are your personality test letters? And there's 16 different personality types. And I highly recommend that you do this once a year or so. And if you come on here, you'll see a link right here. Take the free typology personality test here. And that brings you to this link right here. Now, what I can tell you is that, every year I've been an INFJ, which stands for introverted, I, N, intuitive, F, feeling, and the J was for judging, okay? Like a judge in Libras. Spot on, triple Libra also. But there's a link here, INFJ career choices, all right? So those who are INFJ are most likely going to fall into, these are the ideal jobs for an INF. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm INFP. I'm sorry. So I gotta, let me try to, let me go back here. Not INFP, where are they? There, right on the end. Okay, INFP and INFP career choices. So, okay, it's very similar. Let's see what the P stands for. Perceiving. Okay, so I, introverted, obviously, N, intuitive, F, feeling, and P, perceiving. And this is what the career choices are, which I found really interesting. Social services, arts and humanities, and healthcare. Okay, so I was a child and family therapist, so that makes sense. Here it says religious education, but you could look at that as spirituality education, right? And education as well. The humanities, musician, right? I play guitar, as many of you know. Literature and writing. I obviously have written 400 or 500 articles in 5D, some about archaeology and anthropology. And my major in college was psychology. So, I mean, that is spot on. So we're going to walk through this, and you guys can do this with me. The most important thing is to just answer honestly, okay? There's no right or wrong answer on this. So I put a link up there, and I'm going to start it out right now. Number one, you're almost never late for your appointments. I'd say it's mostly true. You like to be engaged in active and fast-paced job. I'd say yeah, kind of. But it's not yes in capital letters. You enjoy having a wide circle of acquaintances. No, I'm an introvert. My circle's very small. You feel involved when watching TV soaps. That's a big hell no, because I don't watch TV. You're usually the first to react to a sudden event, the telephone ringing, or unexpected question. Yeah, for the most part. You feel that the world is founded on compassion. I believe it should be, but not everyone's that way. You think that everything in this world is relative. Definitely. Everything happens for a reason. Strict observances of the established rules is likely to prevent attaining a good outcome. Well, thoughts become manifestations. It depends on, uncertain. It depends, what those rules are, if you're focusing on them, whether you agree with them or not. It's difficult for you to get excited. For the most part, like I said, people from the Pleiades could manifest in my room right now, and I'd just be like, hey, come on over. I want to interview you. So it wouldn't make my jaw drop. When making a decision, you rely more on your feelings than on analysis of the situation. It depends. You often think about humankind and its destiny. Yeah. You believe that the best decision is one which can be easily changed. Kinda. You often ponder the root cause of phenomena and things. Oh, yeah. You prefer to act immediately rather than speculate about. Yeah, I like being spontaneous for the most part, but not every time. You trust rather reason rather than feelings. Not really. You're inclined to rely more on improvisation than on prior planning. I'd say, yeah, overall. That's what I'm doing right now. You spend your leisure time actively socializing with a, well, I already know that answer. Attending parties. Oh, hell no. You usually plan your actions in advance. No, I wing it. Your actions are frequently influenced by your emotions. I don't think so. You're somewhat reserved and distant in communication. I'd say, yeah. You know how to put every minute of your time to good purpose? Nope. Not at all. You often contemplate the complexity of life. Hell yeah. After prolonged socializing, you feel you need to get away and be alone. Hell yeah. You often do jobs in a hurry. So sometimes yes, sometimes no. It depends. If I can do the job quickly, yeah. If it needs to take time, no. You easily see the general principle behind specific occurrences. I'd say yeah, for the most part. You frequently and easily express your feelings and emotions. Nah, it depends. I wish I was more open. Not really. Sometimes, yes. You find it difficult to speak loudly? Yeah, I do. You get bored if you have to read theoretical books. Once again, that kind of depends. It depends on the subject. You tend to sympathize with other people. Yes. You value justice higher than mercy. Oh, kind of in between. They're, they're both truth. You know, if truth is justice, you can still be merciful. So, yeah, it's somewhere in between. You rapidly get involved in the social life of a new workplace. No. I didn't put the no on the end because eventually you're going to talk to somebody. The more people speak to you, the better you feel. Yeah. Depends. If it's like a group with you guys, yeah. If it's just unawakened people talking about crap, nah. So that's why that was chosen. You tend to rely on your experience rather than on theoretical alternatives. Yeah. Because aren't we basically creating our own reality? But there are other options too, and that's why I didn't choose this one. As a rule, you proceed only when you have a clear and detailed plan. Oh, I don't like plans. You easily emphasize with the concerns of other people. Yes. Often you prefer to read a book than to go to a party. Hell yeah. When with a group of people, you enjoy being directly involved and being at the center of attention. No, 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 no. You're more inclined to experiment than to follow familiar approaches. Yeah, more inclined to. Sometimes no, but most likely, yeah. You're strongly touched by the stories about people's troubles. Yes. Deadlines seem to you to be relative rather than absolute importance. Duh, not really. You prefer to isolate yourself from outside noises. Yes. For you, it's easier to gain knowledge through hands-on experience than from books or manual. Hell yeah. You got to experience it. You think that almost everything can be analyzed. Yeah. For you, no surprises is better than surprises. But no, I'd rather be surprised, at least with the truth. Take pleasure in putting things in order. No. You feel at ease in a crowd. No. You have good control over your desires and temptations. No. You easily understand new theoretical principles. I'd say yeah. Usually place yourself nearer to the side than the center. Oh, hell yeah, I'm in that corner. When solving a problem, you would rather follow a familiar approach than to seek a new one. Nope. But depends. It's one of these two. A thirst for adventure is something close to your heart. Yeah. When considering a situation, you pay more attention to the current situation and less to a possible sequence of events. Depends. When solving a problem, you consider the rational approach to be the best. No. I consider the right approach. The rational one's usually what the consensus thinks, and they're usually wrong. You find it difficult to talk about your feelings? Me? Yeah, I do. I'd go more here, though. Not big yes, little yes. Your decisions are based more on the feeling of a moment than on the thorough planning. I'd say yeah. You prefer to spend your leisure time alone or relaxing in a tranquil atmosphere? Hell yeah. We're almost done here. It's only 64 questions. You feel more comfortable sticking to conventional ways? Nope. You are easily affected by strong emotions? Nah. Always looking for opportunities? It depends. As a rule, current preoccupations worry you more than your future plans. Depends, once again. It's easy for you to communicate in social situations? No. You rarely deviate from your habits? I'd say, I'm pretty much a creature of habit. I'm trying not to be, but yeah. You willingly involve yourself in matters which engage your sympathies? Yeah. Easily perceive various ways in which events could develop? Hell yeah. All right, here we go. What is my... Oh, wipe the surprised look off my face. INFP, yet again. So that's what it is. And if you guys are taking this test, leave your results below the video as well as in the chat room, because I'm curious what you guys are. Most of the people in this genre, at least 85% of the people in our genre are all introverts. We are introverted. We go within for the answers. So I'm going to unmute everyone. Have you guys taken that personality test? And if so, what are your personality test letters? If you guys are taking this test, leave your...
I used to be, up until recently, an INFJ. And since I have been doing a lot of shadow work and a lot of mirror work and a lot of dark night of the soul kind of stuff, tonight I'm an INFP.
Huh.
So I think I'm moving in the right direction. I think I'm becoming more compassionate, which is something I really need to work on.
Join the club. That's cool. It's kind of funny too, because I accidentally put up INFJ instead of INFP, and initially I accidentally hit the INFJ, which I'm not, never have been. But then I went back to the INFP screen.
Yeah, I took the original one back in 2016. I came out as an INFJ-A/T, which is only 1% of the population. But tonight, when I took it, and I've had a lot of things have, cleared up in my head. And I think I'm thinking correctly now for the first time in a long time. And I'm an INFP. Yay.
Do you relate to that overall?
Yes,
you think?
Very much. I mean, I really think that, my outlook has gone from I used to really try to help people, but I did it for the wrong reasons. I did it so I could feel good instead of helping people. And now when I try to help people, I help them because I think I need to help them. They need help, not because of anything that's going to happen for me or to me. So that's a big, something that just kind of came to me in the last few weeks. So
it really, this test really shows a lot about you, when you take it honestly. And like I said, there's no wrong answer when you take this test. And it's not bad to be any of these one of 16 different personality types. It just shows you a little more about yourself and how you might be relating to others. But as I learned about this test when I was in college. I forgot which class I was in. I think it was with Dr. Van Valkenburg, though.
but
I
by the
think it
way,
was,
I minored in psychology. This has always been interesting to me too. That was back in 1989 when I graduated. So
I think it was in child psychology that I learned about this initially. But I took it way back then, and I've been an INFP. I take it every year, INFP every year. And this time, you guys saw all my answers. It might vary a little on those numbers and in the percentages, but I think it said that I was like 62% introvert. The closer you are to that 50%, if you're like a 51 to 50, we'll say 55% introvert, that means you're probably more ambivert. Or if you're 51 to 55% extrovert, that means you're probably more ambivert, which is a little of both, but leaning more towards one than the other. Ideally, I guess it'd be best to be an ambivert, which is, half introvert, half extrovert. But there are things that I'm definitive about. And like you guys saw on one of those questions, where are you going to be in the party? Are you going to be toward the center of the room or on the outside edges? I'm going to be in one of the corners of that room watching. That's just me.
Yeah, I would have to say, Greg, I'm trying to think back when when I was working at the Department of Revenue. They used to run us through these kind of tests, different ones, but I remember this one, and I think it was an ENFP at that time. Of course, that kind of came with the job, if you know what I mean, because I was a weed worker, so I had to be personable and projecting out there, helping people, helping the staff to get things right and all that. So
you were an extrovert at work, but you went home and you were probably more of an introvert at home then.
right, yeah, I was not thinking about going public or anything like that. I was
Right.
pretty much yeah. Well, though I've done, so I'm gonna say I'm probably am a little extroverted. I was an introvert when I was a kid. I was really shy and withdrawn when I was a kid, but something changed. I had to, I grew up and I had to do what I had to do. So I just went with it.
Mm-hmm. Is there anyone else out there that has taken this test before? And what were your letters that you can recall? It's a fascinating test. Seeing on the chat, we're getting lots of I's, either INFP, INTJ. That's a yeah, you don't see that one as often. That's introvert, intuitive thinking and judging. INFP. One time I did a show on Blog Talk Radio, and my co-host and I, it was on introverts, and surprisingly nobody called in.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I found that funny though.
Right. So
what's that old joke? How many psychics are in the room? Raise my hand.
I'm trying to find this one poll and having a hard time finding it. So bear with me. Okay. Okay.
Everybody's muted out there.
Well, everybody is welcome to join in at any time. Thoughts, questions? Like I said, I'm looking for a poll right now. But yeah, jump in. Anyone, more than welcome to.
I've just been noticing with my journey as I'm 16 right now, actually, so I'm pretty young, but I woke up pretty much 11 years old. So, but I've noticed.
I hear something.
Sorry, can you hear me?
I hear Matthias, but I can barely hear you.
Here, can you hear me now?
Kinda. Try talking.
Let me get some earbuds in. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, much better.
Awesome. Okay, so yeah, noticing getting out of the mindset of judgment is really, especially since we're moving into this fifth dimensional energy. When I was looking for people in the past that are like-minded, or what we call like-minded, I have noticed that it's almost like my mind projects the reality. Like that's how it works, right? So I noticed that it's almost like when I'm looking for specific people, but I'm judging people, it's almost like I'm putting on a pedestal, right? And it's almost actually push away those certain people. But when I accept everyone for who they are, and everyone all being self, right? All is self, and completely and unconditionally accepting everyone for who they are, I have noticed that people who I thought were like not like-minded at all actually turned out to be like almost, they're not fully like-minded, but when you have conversations with them, just accepting them for who they are, they actually open up more. And I think it's pretty beautiful, because I think the path of light working, we can't always just be tunnel visioned on what we want to perceive the reality to be, like the outcome. Because if we get too caught on the outcome, like we're kind of just putting on the pedestal again. And I feel like it's pushing it away. And I don't know if this is just a karmic lesson that I've learned, but I've definitely really been feeling this lately. And yeah, just accepting everyone for who they are and getting out of their judgment. I think it's the biggest thing going into 2020 as these energies start approaching more and more, is just getting out of the judgment and being ourselves, and unapologetically.
I think that's finding the link, honestly, between what connects us all together.
Yeah, most definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and
that's
within that, you'll find those commonalities, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
How do you go about that? Do you consider yourself an introvert, first of all?
Oh, wow. Okay, so I haven't fit in with many people all my life. I've actually really started my spiritual journey about 2 years ago. I'm 16 years old now, so I'm still pretty young. But I became aware of everything that was going on since I was 11 years old.
What led to that? Before you get into that.
Well, yeah, my mom actually, I feel like I have some connection with her, like spiritually, like I don't know if it's whether through the soul or something. But she showed me, actually, she showed me these Illuminati playing cards, that they're called, and they were released, I think, in the 1980s. And they showed all pre-planned dates. I think a whistleblower took information and documents from the Pentagon, I'm sorry, and he made playing cards out of them. And pretty much it had everything from 9/11 to Trump to chemtrails. And it kind of just blew my mind. It blew my reality. And I was like, wow, this whole world's like, it's all backwards, it's all fake. And you know and so for a couple years I went through the stages of kind of being depressed, kind of being like this is like, why the fuck am I here, not to swear, but like it was kind of crazy, but then recently I have really started connecting in with myself, and it's just been really amazing to feel like I'm just discovering who I am every single day. And man, it's pretty beautiful, just not focusing on the negative always, but knowing that there's actually people out there like me and you and everyone else in this chat who are actually trying to make a difference in our lives and everyone else's lives. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, those were released, I think, in the 1980s, 1989, I believe. But
it seems like the further you go down the rabbit hole and try to find out everything that's going on around you, you end up coming back to yourself.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, and I've just found that no matter what information I look at on the external, yeah, it just all comes back into the center. And the external world can actually, the knowledge that we find, even though it may seem like really important and stuff, it can actually create unbalances for us. And that's why it's really important, like I've started meditating probably every single day, at least twice a day, and deep meditation, like connecting to the heart and stuff. And I find that and staying grounded as well is just really important for the balance through these energies and through the now that we're living in.
What do you do to ground yourself?
So I actually live in Colorado. So right now we're getting a lot of snow, but I usually, even so, I go outside for 15-20 minutes. I put my feet on the earth without any socks or shoes on. I take my hands too and I place them on the earth, and I even do meditations like that as well, just feeling the energy of the earth and giving thanks to the ancestors, to Gaia, to spirit realm, and feeling the energy and allowing it to heal me and allowing releasing of stagnant energy that no longer serves. And it's amazing, like especially after being a long day at work, going outside, doing that, especially because they've just installed the 5G, and that wireless, I mean, it hurts a lot sometimes. But I've actually found that you can rise above the frequencies of the 5G, which is good. But
how do you do that?
Rise above the frequency?
Yeah, how do you do that?
So with me, I can hear the frequency in my ears almost all the time.
So you hear high-pitched frequencies also then?
Oh yeah, definitely high-pitched. It can feel like burning sensations. You can feel in your crown chakra as well. Man, I'll show you. I have this. I bought this just about $350. This is Oregon Pyramid. I don't know if you guys know what Orgonite is.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this actually pulses at 15 hertz. There's a pulsar on here. So this is actually called the Chem Buster. So you can put this on the earth. If it's a heavy spray day, it won't completely eliminate chemtrails, but this is very powerful. And I also have these. We have one right here. I also have mini Chem Busters, or these are Tower Busters. I'm sorry. So you can actually. I just carry these around with me. This is definitely, it doesn't get rid of it, but it starts to neutralize the positive ions from it. And I believe it helps a lot. But you said, I was talking about rising above the frequency of it. You don't have stuff like this. Really, meditation is the foundation. Like everything in this external. That's what my belief is, at least. So it's actually just tuning into yourself, and you can, I don't know how to describe it. It's almost like feeling, like I'm an empathic person. So it's almost like feeling the energy of yourself and rising above, because everything's frequency, vibration, and sound, right? So it's really just tuning into the frequency and rising above it, or tuning into your own frequency and rising above the low high pitched frequency that you're feeling and hearing. And I don't know, you really have to experiment, because it's your own experience as well. So that's just mine, though. I don't know.
So you're 16. Do you find that, are many of your friends awakened, or do you just kind of go into what you were saying earlier? You just talk about stuff and you find commonalities and just kind of move that way?
Yeah. So I actually moved to Colorado 2 years ago from Minnesota, and Minnesota.
You don't have that Minnesota accent. Minnesota. You don't have that Minnesota accent.
I wasn't living there long enough.
Okay.
I guess, yeah. But yeah, in Minnesota, it was such a low vibrational. I mean, I found a couple people who none of the people were awoke there. I'm gonna first say that. With my friend groups, at least, they all kind of did sports, all that kind of stuff. But when I moved here, I got into this group, and I hadn't completely realized who I was yet, but I had found this friendship with probably 3 kids who I got pretty close with. We did explore psychedelics and all that stuff. That's how I kind of expanded myself. But yeah, so going through this, these kids were not awoke at first, and there was one of my friends who, he even, when I talked about the soul, he was like, "Wait, you believe in that?" And I was like, I was just like, okay, I gotta take a step back. But yeah, at first my friends were not awoke at all, but I started telling them about what the world was actually happening, and they began to realize that more and more. Sorry, my dogs are barking in the background, but
Okay.
I actually, after having a trip, I just realized that these people were no longer serving me for my purpose, and if not, they were holding me back, especially the stuff we were doing. So I kind of outgrew that, and I kind of, like, not in a personal way, I just told them that we can still be friends, but I'm just feeling that I've kind of want to move on from what we're doing, and I'm not really friends with them anymore, to be honest. But now, honestly, so I have been a part of, so I actually dropped out of school, and I'm doing, I'm looking into ways I can do work through metaphysics and stuff. And right now I'm just working a normal job, but I'm hoping to, like, be a metaphysical teacher at some point in my life. But I have actually joined the sovereignty mentorship. I'm sorry, for secret energy. I don't know if you know who Seven Bomar is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I joined that, and there's really great people on there. So I don't actually have many immediate friends at the moment, but everything's happening for a reason. So I'm not taking anything personally. I just know it's part of my journey, and I know that there's amazing people that I'm gonna meet in my life, and so are you guys. Definitely, like, just more so, like, in physical connections, and so I'm just being in the now right now, and yeah.
Well, first of all, I'm just curious about, you dropped out of school, which is, the public indoctrination. I was going to ask you,
Yeah.
what is your opinion of school, or if you are being homeschooled, but, at least you're not getting that public indoctrination crap.
Yeah.
Going on.
Yeah. So the school system is, ever since I was in grade school, I was just like, I mean, I actually went to my first grade school was a science magnet school, so it was more outside time, more connection to nature, which was really great.
Yeah.
But as I moved into middle school, I started hating, and I was like, this stuff's pointless. They're brainwashing, they're lying to us, they're teaching us nonsense. And I kind of just was like, I need to find alternative ways to live my life, because I don't want to waste 4 more years of my high school, which I could be growing, because we grow the most, I believe, when we're young, because that's how it builds us to when we're older. It's the foundation, right? So I really think that the school system, it's going to be, I don't know if it's going to be rethought or if it's going to be rebuilt here in this age of Aquarius. But I think it definitely should be, because it's kind of ridiculous what the people are going through.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, what they're teaching and what they're actually learning is crap.
Yeah.
Well, Mathis, I hope you're reading, and I could recommend a few books. Carlos Castaneda, any of those, The Teachings of Don Juan.
Okay.
And
Why
the
don't
Emerald Sauce.
Emerald Tablets, yeah, I've definitely explored some of that.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of what you're going through, I think alchemy could help you a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good advice. Thank you.
You said you don't have any friends at the moment, but you have a lot of family right here.
Yeah.
How did you find N5D? Just curious.
Oh man, let me think. I don't know if you popped up in my feed or if I was watching someone else. I don't know, but I resonate with you and your message and everything you're saying. So I don't know how I found you, honestly.
Well, it's your first time on here, which is
Yep.
great. And hopefully you won't be a stranger. You know, you'll continue to join us on here because,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, we love hearing the opinions of everyone. We've had people of all ages on here, and it's awesome to get, you know, especially from, you were probably born in what, like 2004?
2003.
2003. So you're like, what, 9 years younger than my daughter. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Do you have you ever read or heard of Dolores Cannon?
Yeah. I don't know if it was actually from one of your live streams. It might have been, but yeah, I think you were talking about her.
Yeah. Yeah. So you would be in the last wave of volunteers. And a lot of people believe that those would be like the crystal, the indigo kids, you know, the kids that come in here that with advanced DNA structure. Something's going to happen where you guys might be
Yeah.
the ones that create the 100th monkey effect.
Okay. It's kind of more of a rabbit hole than what I'm speaking of. But when I was on psychedelics, I had I've had my dark night of the soul, like completely dying and being reborn, but also so these other kids that I was with, I don't know, you know, they don't have connection with their soul as strongly. But after I went through that dark night of the soul period, I came back to myself after having this tremendously horrible disassociation. I came back into myself, and it was almost like whatever I projected into the reality was affecting everything. And I could see, like, it was almost like I close my eyes and I look around, and the people around me would be completely affected, but they could also see whatever I just went through. Like they could see through my eyes, but they were, I don't know how to explain it, but they just said, you know, I'm not like everyone else. You know what I mean? Obviously, I know what they mean by now, but it's just
Who were
kind of
they
amazing.
that said this?
Okay, so these are my friends before I kind of stopped hanging out with them and stuff. Um, I had 3, they were really great friends at the time, but yeah, just friends I hung out with for
They
a
knew
year and a
something
half.
was different about you, something that was not typical
Yeah,
in other.
yeah,
Right. Okay. What's your belief
yeah.
on you know, what Dolores talks about with the 3 waves of volunteers and, you know, where we're
I
heading.
yeah, I think that's pretty true. I mean, I have to do more research into what she was saying, but I definitely feel like, especially with the generations that they've been classifying, the government has been classifying people as, um, there's always two sides, the double-edged swords, like everything they're saying. So the generations, I believe they're all, you know, they all had their uniquenesses of why they came here, and they classified them because they like to put stuff in boxes so they can label and keep in control, because straight lines instead of swirls, right? Swirls and chaos, which they don't want. But reality, these people like us and me and you and everyone else who's here right now, yeah, we're tremendously important on this awakening process, because like without us raising the vibration, and believing in ourselves, because we are creating this reality, and believe me, we are, because I've seen it and firsthand, we're tremendously powerful, even if it doesn't perceive that as it is in the moment. We're definitely going to be doing some great stuff, and I've been feeling the energies really lately. They've been like excited. Like, I don't know, you said you don't get excited very often, but these energies make me excited, because I feel that the shift is happening between the 5th and the 3rd, and I'm starting to observe how people are interacting. I'm starting to see like how every single action is I'm like tapping into the subconscious plane pretty much on why everyone's acting like they're acting. And it's not for me to necessarily tell them to change it, because I'm not here to tell everyone and be like a dictator. But, you know, I also realize that I need to be recognized and asked for the help, or asked for the helping of people, in order to actually allow my energy to help that. But
Well,
yeah.
Matthias, have you ever thought about Reiki?
Oh yeah, I listened to actually a couple of Reiki people on YouTube, but yeah, I definitely was actually thinking about doing Reiki classes.
Well, I will make you an offer right now. Since you're so young, you're 16 years old and you're awakening, I will actually do level 1 Reiki for free for you, and we'll get you going on that, and then get
Really?
you, yeah, we can work something out, and then let you experience the level Reiki 1, see how you like it, and we'll get you going on from there. See how you
Awesome,
like
that'd
that.
be sweet. That'd be sweet.
So message me on Facebook as Desiree Lynn Mathis, and then we'll contact each other.
Yeah, let me
Go ahead.
all right, let me take a screenshot so I can see your name. Awesome. I'll definitely do that.
How cool is that? Yeah,
I appreciate that.
that's great.
Well, because you're so young, and it's like, oh my gosh, here's an opportunity. This is like the youngest person I've ever met in my life. That's so amazing.
See, here's the thing too. I haven't met anyone else in my life who has the vision that I have at this moment. Like, that's my age, at least. You know what I mean? They're all older than me. That's why I kind of was like looking for people who, like I said, the tunnel vision of looking for people who were a certain age group or whatever for an outcome. But when I stopped looking and stopped judging, I'm starting to find people who are not specifically in what I was looking for, but had that the same abilities and stuff, you know.
You're a very old soul.
Well, I picked up on that too. He made me feel young. He's such an old soul. So yeah.
I was like, what? He said he's 16. I was like, no.
16.
He's gonna be like 30. Yeah, he's gonna be in his 30s or 20s. Yeah, come on.
We have been mesmerized with what you're saying. I mean, it is amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, just contact me, message me whenever you're ready for more information about Reiki and stuff. I'm a master, but I don't really talk about it to people. It's kind of I'm quiet about it until they actually really want to know about it. But
okay.
Just
I'll definitely message you.
you'll research a little bit more, and by that time it'll probably be about 6 weeks. Give yourself a good 6 weeks for the first level, and then you get your certificate whenever you start practicing and get your hours
Awesome.
in. So yeah,
That's really great to
Yeah.
hear. Appreciate it.
awesome. Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Keep up working on yourself. That's
Yeah.
awesome to meet someone so young. It is
Oh.
so crazy.
Totally mesmerized. I
is.
wanted to tell you, Matthias, I kept getting while you were talking, I kept
Mhm.
seeing the number 8. Is that any significance to you?
I have been seeing a lot of numerologies lately, and
I
8
keep
is
getting
definitely.
8s. Yeah.
I think 8's in coordination with Saturn, I believe.
Okay, and so there's going to be a planetary alignment between, I think, Pluto and Saturn. So maybe
Mhm.
that's it. Yep.
That has already happened.
Has it? Has it? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, sorry, I'm behind. It's a full moon tonight.
Awesome.
The moon is in Leo. Moon is in Leo. There is going to be a conjunction between Saturn and Jupiter coming up.
That's what it is. Saturn and Jupiter.
Yeah.
Thank you,
There's
Phil.
a
That's
Okay.
what it
lot
is.
of.
Yeah.
I'm a Sagittarius, so I've been on fire. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I'm
Uh-huh.
actually. I have actually a couple questions about the astrological signs. So I'm a Taurus because I was born on 4/22/03.
Oh, no, really?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, wow. I got to say this. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to
Okay.
interrupt. I just did this video I just did. I drew the Prince of Dis. And you know what the Prince of Dis is? It's a Taurus sign.
Really.
That's the way I read it. Young, charging ahead because he's in the thought deck. He's in a chariot being pulled by a bull, and his
Wow.
crown was a winged bull. So yeah, these energies are for you, bro.
I appreciate it. Oh, that's amazing. But yeah. So actually, I don't know if you guys ever heard. So supposedly it's a 13th sign on the astrological signs, right?
Yeah.
I believe it's
that.
in
Mhm.
December. Is that actually true? I've done some research on it, but
Ophiuchus.
yeah.
Ophiuchus.
Oh yeah, Greg's right. Ophiuchus. That's exactly
So,
right.
so
There's a few astrologers that are acknowledging that, but not all. Not all.
Oh,
okay.
Not me.
So some will go
Because
to the classic.
I'm
and
old school.
Some go
Well,
back to the classic and they just won't go anything beyond the 12. I'm kind of ambivalent on it because actually the way these the signs are, they don't really. They're divided into 12 sections. That kind of fits within our year and all that, but 13, that would almost say to me that we're looking at a lunar calendar instead of a solar calendar.
yeah, and the thing, see, that's the really question I had, because if that was actually true, my sign would be a Aries instead of a Taurus.
Right. Yeah. It really screws up the current.
Yeah.
What
and
was the astrology?
I believe the Mayan calendar was 13 months or something like that too, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
Maybe
so-
that's part of the new energy. Maybe that's part of the new energy then.
Yeah,
Going into the
definitely could be.
13th stein. Yeah.
Ophiuchus is shown holding the serpent, and we all know the serpent doing the Ouroboros, biting its own tail. I do think that has something to do with the times we're in, but I don't relate it specifically to astrology. Now, Matthias, you are, if you bear with me here real quick, you're Pluto in Sagittarius. Hang on. I have an article on in 5D, which Pluto generation are you? And you were born in 2003, correct?
Oh man, we're in the same generation, man.
So
I'm a Pluto. Yep.
November 10th to 95 till 2008. So Pluto and this is the generation I love. This is before me. I so love the Pluto and Leos. I'm Pluto and Virgo. My daughter is Pluto and Scorpio. You're Pluto and, as well as Desiree. The Pluto and Sagittarius generation is very
Oh.
philosophical and rebellious. They seek action and abhor boredom. This is the generation that will take current ideas and turn them into something so amazingly unfathomable that it will completely change life as we know it. From this generation, we are going to see many new ideas and inventions from kids who have limited educations in any given areas of life, yet are able to figure things out without the need of a formal education, which is exactly what you're doing,
Yeah.
Matthew. In other words, it will seem as though their minds are wired a little bit differently as they're able to access both hemispheres of the brain with relative ease. And you can find that article here on N5D, and I'll put a link below in the more info section if you want to check that out.
Cool, that would be
or
him.
any
That'd
of
be
the other
this Matthias. That would be him. Yep, totally.
Yeah, spot on with you.
Well, that's amazing.
Yeah.
It was meant to be. I guess I was contemplating if I should join this and or join the call, and I did.
Yeah.
So
glad you did.
yeah.
Well, if you would pull up your natal chart, go to cafeastrology.com, and then you put in your birth, everything, all your information, and then it pulls it up, and then you're going to be able to find out so much more information about yourself, what you need to work on for yourself. So I would definitely write that down, cafeastrology.com, and that's what helps me out. And it'll probably help you a lot, and it'll probably help you learn how to, focus more on what you need to work at for yourself. And it'll tell you what you're going to be good at in life.
I find that traditional Vedic astrology is, spot on for me, being a triple Libra. I know myself better than anyone, right? And I know that I'm just like, I'm all in on whatever I go on. And it's like when I heard the vegetarian diet, I'm like, all in, all in, all in. I know that ultimately I'm constant, like Libras are not about balance. We're constantly seeking balance, and which means we're out of balance at all times. And I know that that's probably why the fruitarian diet is probably not the best thing for me in the long run. But in the short run, yeah, I can detoxify and I can lose a little weight. But the issue is being out of balance. So that's what being a triple Libra teaches me, is I'm constantly out of balance, and I got to catch myself when I'm in those positions to, get back in balance. So
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. If it makes sense to you, that's the one that it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. It's what you think, whatever you vibe to.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So it's cool. Our chat room is wide open. I'm going to paste another link in YouTube if you guys want to join us. Join in on the conversation. Tonight's spirit chat. Whatever you guys want to talk about, we're open. Pick a topic, anything.
Soul songs.
Soul songs. All right, you lead off.
I wrote an article about it. So basically what I would call this, well, it could be just, the song that really sings to your soul. It could be light language. It could be, just the vibrations. Like part of my soul song is the Tibetan bowls, because that really resonates with me, right? So whatever resonates with you really is your soul song.
Handpan. Have you heard of a handpan, Phil?
Yeah, I got one.
Oh, do you? Oh, I'm so jealous. I can't afford one. They're expensive. Yeah, I do a lot of hand panning on the window, because like when I'm trying to talk to spirit or whatever, I just go up to my upper level of my house, which I call the Eagle's Eyrie, and then I just hand pan on the window because I don't have a hand pan, so I just tap it out right there. So.
Oh yeah, I know. They're not cheap.
Yeah, no. So I'm just kind of, when I go up there and I do that, I'm just kind of throwing it out into the universe. So amazingly, I have old windows and they get a lot of tones, so it's good.
I'm throwing a song out there. You Can't Rush Your Healing by Trevor Hall.
All right.
What is a hand pan? I'm still
a hand pan. Like you were talking about that one time that you were saying
Here,
that you
I'll show
actually
you one
wanted to
right
see.
here.
There's a hand pan. You've heard that music before. You can go to. It's also known as a hand drum, and you were talking about that one time on one of your something you were saying, Greg. Yep, you've heard that music. Do it, Phil, so that Greg can hear it. Isn't that cool? I know you've heard that before. There's a YouTube video called Hang Massive that you can go to, and it will give you a good song on what the handpan really sounds like in duo. I think it's called Hang Massive, and it's on YouTube. You would love it.
Oh yeah, duos are great. Even the single one would be great.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like the sound of that.
I wanted to ask Matthias, you said you were in Colorado. I'm in Colorado also. Have you been hearing these sonic booms all day? Or is it just me?
Can you describe them?
Like outside, like it almost sounds like Fort Carson is like practicing with cannons or something. It's like a vibration that's loud and boom outside. I'm like, what?
I haven't. Where are you located in Colorado?
I'm in southern Colorado.
Yeah, I'm in northeastern. I'm in Fort Collins, so.
Okay, yeah, you're quite a bit farther north. Yeah, I don't know where it's coming from, but all day for like 3 days, on and off. It's not doing it right now, but I've been hearing these weird sonic booms, so I didn't know what that was all about.
Yeah, I haven't been hearing them up here.
Okay, just curious.
I used to live in Brighton, Colorado, and Aurora. That's my favorite place to live ever.
Oh yeah.
So beautiful out there.
Well, it's getting kind of crowded because a lot of stuff is going on here. So
yeah,
some of the biggest UFO hunters have recently moved here. So yeah. So somebody asked me what's going on in Colorado, and I said, well, apparently everything. So Matthias, do you know about those drones and all those lights in Fort Collins? Have you seen that on the news?
I haven't. No, I don't really pay attention to the news. But...
Well, it just was on the news kind of briefly. My husband was even asking me, he said, well, what's going on with those drones and those weird lights in the sky in Fort Collins? I said, I don't know. I haven't heard anything lately. So
yeah,
just curious. But, Space Force is here. Space Force is in Carter Springs. So, and I heard today from a friend of mine that the president's going to be coming here, and I think that's probably why. So, a lot of activity here.
Yeah, and Denver is definitely a hotspot for a lot of stuff in this country, at least.
So yeah, Corey Good is down in Boulder. So
yep, Emery Smith, he's here too now in Boulder. I think maybe Emery's in Springs. He might be outside of Springs. So and I think David Wilcock moved here.
Right. I'm not sure. I think he's got 2 houses, one in LA and one in Colorado. So I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah, I think so. He's made a lot of money off his movies and books and stuff. So.
Well, yeah.
George
really
Green,
cool.
He's an old guy. He's here now too. So it's trippy.
So Matthias, have you noticed any abilities that have turned on, or is there something that you're working on activating your DNA?
Yeah, so I've actually been using binaural beats. I've been using YouTube Reiki, which there's like Blended Insight. There's a couple other channels that you can actually feel the energy off of. But I've been using the frequencies to specifically target like areas that I need to heal, such as chakras, energy work, DNA as well. But I've just been like stepping into my power more, like feeling like what my powers actually are. And I know that just recently I've been thinking about this. I've realized that when I close my eyes, I don't actually see anything. And I thought that was normal for a while. I don't know if you guys usually see visualizations when you close your eyes, or if you imagine something.
Yes.
So like if you imagine like an apple, you can see the apple.
Yes.
I can't see anything. It's all black, but it's almost like I know I can describe an apple up course, because I have a relationship to like eating apples and stuff before, but I guess it's called like Aphantasia. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I've just been thinking, like, what's the spiritual meaning behind this? Because I can't imagine to manifest, right? Because most people they imagine like what they want their reality to be like. So I've kind of been like finding a way around this and realizing how in tune with my energy and energy in general that I'm super in tune with energy. And I've just been feeling that I have this tremendous capability of perceiving who everyone is. Like I can look at people and I can tell like if they're faking like liking me, or if, you know, things along the lines of that, or like what they even need to be helped with. I can like specifically
that's a little
tell.
scary at first, isn't it? It's a little
Yeah,
scary.
a little bit. Yeah, just like totally, just like I can look at someone who, I don't know, it's kind of hard to describe, but just.
No, I know what you mean. It makes it hard to go out in public.
Yeah,
It
sometimes.
just a lot. Sometimes it can be overload because you can pick up too much stuff. You're like, whoa, okay, I need a circle here.
Yeah, I almost feel like I'm like a bright light. Like just whenever I go in public, I get stared at.
And people see you. Me too. Yeah,
like
you're like,
everyone.
Like a Jesus. Yeah, like a Jesus.
Yeah, I'm like. Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean. I had that anxiety 2 years ago when I first awoken. I mean, I've been gifted my whole life. I'm epileptic and I've had dreams, and like I've known my powers, but it's just to the point when 2 years ago when we actually had the solar eclipse is when I felt like I awoken. Like that's when like the power hit me so hard. I was like, poof. And it was 2017 we had that solar eclipse, lunar, whatever it was called. It was in September, and it was huge. It was a huge power, and right after that, I felt the power. So, some music, if you guys are interested in, and he really helps me with guiding meditation. There's Steve Noble on YouTube. He helps me with guided meditation. If you can't visualize things, he'll help you. And then there's a singer who sings, is Nako, and Medicine for People. I don't know if you've heard of him, but he's pretty awesome. He has pretty good music. So
that's cool. That usually helps
you want to take your power back. There you go. Yeah. So just a little bit of insight.
Yeah, Matthias, you just need to practice on your meditations. It's really hard because you have to, like if you're really trying to meditate, the only way I was able to do it is because of all my family and everything. The only way I was able to do it was I have this period that I call twilight where I'm not quite asleep and I'm not quite awake, but it has to be totally dark and totally quiet. I mean, you can't have your blue screen or anything in there with you. It has to just be you in your mind. And if you just keep doing it and just keep staring on the inside of your head into where your pineal gland would be, eventually you will go inside of yourself and then you will just start seeing, like a bright white light. And you might see some other things that you're not specifically visualizing, but will come to you. And then you can kind of start trying to manifest from there.
Yeah.
Start seeing stuff. You're like, oh, what was that? So then, but it just takes a lot of meditations and takes some practice. And it's really hard in our society because it's hard to have that much time and quiet space time where nobody is bothering you or talking to you or no lights or whatever. So just keep practicing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've kind of like created my own techniques for meditation, and it's more so because I can't see like things when I close my eyes, like I said. But my pineal gland is obviously activated, but it's more so when I meditate, I'm feeling, like I said, like I'm empathic, but I feel my energy, and instead of using my mind to feel it, I like feel it with my energy and my soul, and it's almost like I embrace it. And so yeah, you're going in, and when you embrace that energy, then it's and it's just you just go into it, and
feel it's just like a presence, isn't it? Yes.
It's
and you're like, oh hi, you're here. Yep.
It's totally centering. It brings you to back to who you are. especially when you're like out of balance.
Right.
Just
That's
meditation.
that's your higher self coming to you to talk to you, to be with you.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. Yep. I know that feeling. It's overwhelming. It's like there's no way you can describe it to anybody either. I mean, you have to feel it for yourself, right? Just this feeling, and you're like, oh, I know there's a presence here. And it's just overwhelming.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I kind of register it, my higher self, as just myself now. Like I've kind of integrated them, you know, or myself, them, but my higher self and my being in the third dimension, they're just kind of integrated now. So yeah, so when I have this strong intuitive, like there's always this voice. It's almost like it's my mind and my higher self like combined together. It just tells me what I need to be doing, tells me keep going, you know. But it's almost like feeling the energy of it and communicating through mind as well. So
yeah, Gregg has expressed that type of same experience, and he called it, like, I think Gregg described it as kind of like being layered, like a voice that you hear within, but it's almost layered, right, Gregg?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I'm trying to find the article on N5D that goes, oh, it's right here. Okay, let me screen share real quick.
Cool.
I got a question from Matthias.
Hang on
Yeah.
1 sec. Wait. All right. So if you feel guided to check this article out.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh, that's great.
You go to sleep to open your third eye.
That's awesome.
And
that's on your website, right?
Yeah, and chances are you'll get those visions. You'll start seeing them. It's real simple to do, and knowing, you know, how you are, that you came in probably with more advanced DNA than all of us. It's going to be really interesting to see how far you can take that. The other thing, if you're so guided to do, this is something that's free in 5D. I don't know if you've looked much into your past lives.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just listen to this before you go to sleep, and fall asleep listening to it. There's a play button right here, and it'll trigger a past life, and you know, be curious what you get out of that. So anyway, continue, Matthias. Or is it Matthias? Matthias? How do I pronounce that?
It's Matthias, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So about my past lives, and my dreams as well. So, it's really weird. I I dream pretty vividly, almost to the point of lucidity. And I've been attempting to lucid dream almost every night. I've done it a couple times. But my dreams almost seem like not as reality. Well, that too, but almost as if they aren't, I don't completely understand the meanings of them. Like they're almost like they don't make any sense at all. Like they're just like pointless almost.
Do you keep a dream journal?
I created one, but I haven't really.
Good.
I should probably start doing that. Yeah, but more often at least.
It's all gonna kick in.
Just definitely.
You know, it's really just it's really just your mind trying to explore possibilities. And you know what I'm saying? That's kind of what we're doing here on the planet. We're basically trying to explore different possibilities. Does that make sense? I mean, it's like, you know, your mind is probably, as smart as you sound, your mind's probably bored. And so it's just trying to create different scenarios that it can entertain itself with.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense, because my dream last night was it was me at work, except the work was colorful and it was completely different building and different people. You know what I mean? So it didn't make much sense why I was there, but it was like just like it almost felt like I was in a different timeline.
What was I saying last time we were talking? We were in a huge building full of tons of people. And it was like, who was talking about a party that was going on? But it was like, who was talking about a party? But think, yeah, we were talking about it like a huge building that everybody was in. It was like a party or like a huge get together, and everybody was in it, and it just felt like you were at home, but then with people you knew, but you didn't see their faces. So
I know that a lot of people, I know you're in Colorado. I'm not going to say whether you do or don't, but I'm referring to other people anyway. A lot of people say that when they quit getting high, they'll start remembering their dreams.
Yeah.
You are referring to Colorado.
1 + 1 equals
Yeah.
2
Let me make a comment on this actually. When I first got here, I was doing heavy smoking of weed or marijuana or cannabis.
They call this the land of Oz.
Yeah, and I've came to realize that it definitely opens you up, opens your mind up, but it also opens you up to energies that you don't necessarily want, and it definitely fogs your brain. And you're right, when you sleep you don't remember your dreams, but I have gotten off that for probably 6 months now, and I can tell you my dreams have totally came back. They're not as meaningful. Like I don't necessarily.
Desiree's clapping for you. Yay.
Yeah. Yeah,
it does. It makes you feel like it opens your mind, and you think, "Oh, I'm so smart," but then no. And the same alcohol does the same thing. It will make you think, "Oh, look, I can."
Oh, I disagree.
Other stuff, and then at first, and then you fries your brain, and no.
Well, yeah. See, it taps into that feminine, the right side or left side or whatever feminine side is, for like an hour. And you feel like you have this, you feel like you have this like this direct like connection to it, and like you're smart, like you said. And then when it wears off, you kind of just,
and then you're like, oh, what happened to me there, right?
Yeah,
you can kind of lose yourself. So it only works just temporarily, and then it's just goes too far. Yeah, it's just kind of
It's interesting. Okay, Matthias, you said that it opens you up to energies you don't want. And that makes me think about, okay, well, what if it was just, you wouldn't know this, but the weed I used to smoke when I was a kid, back in like the 70s and 80s, it was like Colombian, Mexican, Colombian gold. Hawaiian. Yeah. It actually had seeds in it back then that you could replant.
It's all GMO now.
Now it's like the Frankenweed that's GMO and
it's
ultra potent.
It's militarized.
Ties into with being able to, like you said, it opens you up to energies that you don't want. I wonder if that's because of the Frankenweed.
Yeah, it might be designed. It's kind of dangerous that way now. I agree, Greg. Yeah, it's not like it used to be.
Well,
yeah, like in the 70s.
They turned the THC up, which is the psychoactive part of it, and most of the stuff back then was probably like 12%, less than that even.
Yeah,
and now
now
strains get up to 35%, and that stuff knocks you over, and you can't function. But I've smoked weed once I was gotten tuned to my energy. I smoked it. Actually went back to my friend's house for the last time I've actually talked to him in probably a couple months, and he smoked me up. And this stuff, his house, I don't know if he has dirty electricity, but I picked up on it so bad that I was so nauseous. I could feel this ringing, and it almost felt like I was getting like radiation poisoning. I was picking up, this stuff's crazy. I mean, I don't
know. It just made you too open. I understand exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
No, it's like, because the last time that happened to me, I mean, one time I thought, well, this happens when you live in Colorado. One time I thought, okay, well, one time I'll see what this is like. Well, it just makes you too open. I mean, I freaking went through a wormhole for 4 hours. You know what I mean? And it wasn't by my own design. So it wasn't that fun because I didn't pick it and choose it and go there. It just happened to me. And I'm like, that was gross. I'm not doing that again.
Yeah.
I don't like to be that out of control. Ugh.
Most definitely.
Yeah. No.
And that's what I've told myself too. If I'm ever going to smoke this plant again, maybe if I get some stuff from South America that's organic, that's never been crossbred with GMO militarized weed, that there's a reason that they make this stuff organic. I mean, and start taxing it. I mean, do people really think that the government's just going to make this organic again just so people can heal themselves?
I hope not. I hope they don't.
It's always
that the government is
no.
behind them.
Well, the government has
people-
a patent on cannabis.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'll show it to you.
No, never. No.
So-
that's scary. That's worse than no.
See,
So
yeah,
you're
so
talking about two different things here, really, because yes, the government has their crop that they've patented, but man, I'm in Washington.
Mhm.
We've been growing and crossbreeding pot for years, long before it became legal.
Right.
Yeah.
And so these strains, it's just like any other plant, you can breed it for its qualities.
Well, you're right. Just
This is
I
just
wouldn't
all
buy it at a
breeding
commercial
program.
place. Yeah.
Uh,
No.
Now, I don't know about the government pot, but I mean, the government doesn't even legalize it yet. So even though
Well,
there's
that's
so-
Yeah.
true. It's still against the law. So yeah, that's a weird thing right there. So whatever.
well, see, that's what about Colorado too. That's why so many people are flocking here as well, because the weather too, but sometimes, but the weed
Yeah,
too. I
not
mean,
today.
no, it hasn't it hasn't been for a while, but yeah, I just feel like a lot of people are coming here because marijuana and stuff, but it's like I said, double-sided sword always.
Well, you're right, Matthias. And when you step back and look at it, you're going to get to a point, because you're so young, you're going to get to a point where you realize that it was some kind of a control deal. You know what I mean? I mean, it seems like a good thing. Sometimes when things seem too good to be true, well, you got to kind of step back and go, well, they might be. So, yeah,
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems all real, hey, this is all cool. I don't know. It seems like,
Well,
hey, come step right in, said the spider to the fly.
Well,
I'm
there's
like,
certain
I've-
strains for certain things, and in certain types of weed that do certain things. So like there's sativa that's you run around, you're up and about, and then the indica couch, So
Mhm.
it it just depends on what type. For me, I personally prefer indica couch before I go to bed, and it helps me actually get into that dream state. Like if I do, smoke, and it's been a while, but it depends on who I get it from and where. But it just depends. Like nowadays, there's fentanyl in it. You got to be careful of the terpenes they put in it.
danger.
So
Yeah,
you got to
fentanyl.
be careful who you get it from, the dish, who grows it. But overall, I think it is a healing process. But when you do smoke it, it's gonna take you into a fear base. If you're not healing yourself properly with it, it's gonna take you to a whole nother dimension. It's gonna take you a whole different side of you that you're not aware of at the time. Like your higher self might pop in and be like, "Hey, you need to work on this right now."
Yeah, I know, Desiree. I mean, it's hard enough when you're trying to meditate or do something like astral travel if you don't know what you're doing. So once you add
It just depends on who you are
hallucinogenics
and
to
what
it, then whoa, I mean, you could really lose control. So that's kind of dangerous. So.
It just depends on who
that
you
all being
are.
said,
So.
I don't do God, the last time I bought weed it cost $40 an ounce, so I have no idea what it costs now. It just goes to show you how long ago it was.
Well, if
Oh
you're a
my.
veteran, it's a dime.
CBD oil.
It's $10 a gram here in Illinois. So yeah.
CBD, I wanted to tell you something, Greg. I found out something on
CBD.
accident about CBD oil because I take it for fibromyalgia. Okay. And so I found out that I thought it seemed like it was thinning my blood. So my husband did some studies on the internet, and it doesn't thin your blood, but it will keep your blood from clotting. So you have to be really careful with it. Nobody has told us that because they haven't done any studies on it. I just found out about it kind of on accident. I'm like, why am I having all these bloody noses? And I think it's the CBD. So you really have to be careful with it, because if you do research on it, it will tell you that it keeps your blood from clotting. So you can't do too much of it. I mean, it's
That might be
really
a good thing
high
though for
blood
me
pressure.
after having a heart attack.
If you've had a stroke or a heart attack, yes, but nobody knows what the dosage is. You kind of just have to, do your own gradual dosing until you find out what feels good and doesn't make you too much one way or the other. It's kind of all about balance. Because I started off with like 4 drops, and then I went up to like 6, and I was kind of getting too euphoric, and having too many nosebleeds. So now I'm back on.
Wait, euphoric. You don't get high.
Yeah. No,
oil.
Well,
CBD.
I don't know. I kind of was getting like that.
Yeah, there's something wrong with your
so.
CBD
No
oil.
way.
Apparently.
It might have had too much indica or something in it, right? See? Oh, Phil's right. Okay.
No, it's CBD, no THC. THC is your the psychoactive part of it.
Yeah, so it must have been
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
maybe
Phil's
a
like,
bad
hey, let me get in here.
strain. I'm like, what? Yeah, I know. And so
No, I know about this
drops only.
product.
Oh, 2 drops. That's it. No, it was weird. Yeah. So it might have been the producer. We're doing a strictly Colorado one, which is organic CBD, and it's kind of regulated. So because of that weirdness, but it does
Right.
make your blood not clot. So just
Hmm.
thought I'd throw that out there.
Of course, the older we get, the easier we bleed and all that stuff too. So our skin gets a little thinner. You just doink into something and you got to cut.
That's awful.
Thanks a lot, Greg.
You wouldn't know about that, Matthias. Not yet.
Okay.
No, yeah.
Wish it
To
on
me,
it.
because I had CBD, I smoke pot, and I don't bleed at all. I mean, I have to actually get sliced to bleed. I mean, it just isn't happening for me. I don't know.
Okay.
But that's me. I'm a strange creature, I guess.
Can I jump in for a second?
Oh, yeah.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Mare. Hi,
Greg.
Mare.
How you doing? Yeah, I was traveling, so I was listening on YouTube. So I'm home now.
Okay.
I just wanted to say something to Matthias, if I could.
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to you earlier about not being able to, for instance, visualize an apple.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's about 3% of the population, and I am one of them, who also cannot do that.
Whoa.
Yes. I found that out centuries ago. No, actually, probably in the 80s, because I am
when you were a kid.
Probably slightly older than you, just a little bit. But what I do is if I want to visualize something, and let's take the apple as an example, I have to build it piece by piece in my head. So I'll start with a circle, then if I want to elongate it, and then add the color and add the stem, and then I will get the apple. And the same thing when I close my eyes, I get nothing, black. But when I meditate, I'll get colors. The colors will start coming in.
Same with me. Yeah.
And
And
so
then
what
what I
colors do you guys
decided
get?
at the end of the meditation, then images will come.
Really?
Yeah, I will get images. It depends, not all the time, but I will get sounds and I will get images.
What colors do you see,
Really?
Mary? What
It generally starts with green and then goes to purple and deep
purple,
purple and
red?
white.
Me too.
And like sometimes they swirl together. I do know when I start seeing the purple that I feel
you're going there.
yes,
Right?
yes, I can feel it. But more than that, I feel this huge body physical relaxation at that point.
Yep, the purple. That always does it for me. I used
and
to see the
then
green
I
first.
go somewhere, not all the time, but I go somewhere.
Me too.
And then when I come back, I sometimes get images, and it's the same when I'm sleeping. When I get images is when I first wake up. And
right.
Sometimes when I open my eyes, and sometimes right before I open my eyes, that's when I get
that's the twilight period.
visions.
So have you?
I think it's called the REM stage. But
Yes. Well,
REM. So Mary,
past the REM stage.
Okay.
Mary, have you ever astral traveled and then come back into your body too quickly?
Yes.
Yep. That's a strange
that is
feeling,
actually
is it not?
the last time I did it.
Wow.
It really scared me. I may be doing it and not be aware of doing it, but I might have done it a handful of times, and it was just bizarre because I would go up to my own body, and lay
you're
on
out
my
of
own
it.
body and
And then you come back in it and you're like,
Right.
oh, that was odd.
right. The
Whoa.
funny thing was when it stopped, I was astral traveling, and I said I lived in overseas at the time. I was with the Peace Corps in Korea, and I said I was astral traveling, and I said I thought it, and when you're doing that, your thoughts are totally clear. You do not have any extraneous sound or anything. It's just pure thought. So I thought, oh, what a great cheap way to see my mother. And that fast, man, zoom, I was back in my
You're back in your body.
And that was the last time I did it. I was just like, nope, not going to do that.
That's weird. Yep.
Crazy stuff. But just and then there was one other thing about dreams. I don't want to step on your toes, Greg, because I'm sure you have your preferred methods of dream interpretation.
It's okay. This is an open chat. Everyone's welcome to put their opinions out.
I took a course that I found through in5D and Aphantasia, and
my sister website. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, cool.
And it's the man named Michael Sheridan, and the course is the spiritual interpretation of dreams. It was life-changing for me. And what he specializes in is taking your dream symbols and symbologies and showing you from that what your spiritual gifts are.
Oh, wow.
Now,
Okay.
I highly recommend him, but he about every quarter he gives a free, very high level overview. And then he gives a mini, I don't know if he's going to do it this year, but he gives a mini course, which is very inexpensive. Now his in-depth courses are not inexpensive and beyond the means of a retired person. But I learned so much. And now when I hear dreams, I can interpret them in a spiritual sense. He also, it's not just the spiritual gifts, but he also does health warnings and relationship issues and things like that. So, but now when you have a dream, I can interpret it for myself about 80% accuracy. And he's been doing it for like 30 years. So that's all I'm going to say. I'm not giving free endorsements here, but it definitely was useful for me. So I'll leave it at that.
What's his name?
Michael Sheridan.
Okay, I'll look into that for sure.
If you want to. And I know I've read also in 5D, you've had a lot of dream interpretations and links to those also. So, you have to use your own common sense. I've found validity in both methods, but what I liked was the total focus on the spiritual side. Enough said.
Well, I find that
I want to say something that I got interrupted for, and I'm going to insist on this.
Sorry.
You already have clairaudience and clairsentience.
Right.
So you've got two of your clairs already nailed down. So I wouldn't worry about the visualization that much.
Oh, you're talking to Matthias. Okay.
You can get messages from spirit. That's the key.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely had that realization, because I was like, am I not complete? But then after having thinking it over, I was like, well, I have this made up for that. So in a way, there's a balance, because not everyone has everything, right? Not everyone, we're all unique in our own ways. So but
that's the point of being here, to try to complete yourself. That is what we're doing here. That's part of the issue, is whatever you have to complete yourself, is you are here trying to find it. You're here trying to help, and you're also here trying to find whatever it is that you need or want to complete yourself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
You're just trying to complete yourself. There's something that you wanted to add to your soul, to the Akashic record on the planet or something, and so you came to find it, and you're still looking, but you're way ahead of all of us. So
I'll
be right back.
So I have a question. If anyone else has had this experience, on LSD, actually, one of the times I took it, we were actually out in the middle of the Arapaho forest camping, and we all took, I think it was like 2 or 3 tabs, so a pretty high dosage of it. But when it kicked in, many things had happened. I was with some people that I didn't really know that well, but that I was with a couple people I did know pretty well. And what had happened was there was one person named Lucas. His name was Lucas. Okay. And, I feel like he didn't really know himself at all. He probably had past trauma issues, but when he had looked me into the eyes, he said, "Whoa." And then after that, it was probably the worst trip I've ever had. He went into, I don't know if you guys know what loops are, acid loops or trip loops are.
Don't do drugs.
Yeah, no,
Right.
if you aren't balanced and centered within yourself, definitely don't be doing psychedelics because they open you up. But I don't know if you guys know, but it was almost like these little aspects of his mind completely went into a fragmentation, and he was in a constant state of saying stuff over and over, and he wasn't there. Like he wasn't there at all. He just was cycling these things over and over, and he ended up getting so bad. It was probably 8 or 9 hours before it ended, which is pretty scary. But he ended up, it was almost like had this like exorcism moment where he went on the ground and just released involuntarily, like with no control. And it was almost, I don't know how to describe it to this day. I mean, I don't know what it was, if it was just,
it's like he was vulnerable to entities, able to attack his auric field if he wasn't able to control his auric field, or if there was any what do you call it, like notches in your auric field, like when your auric field is tore, and those entities can come in and slither in and then be able to get in. But when you do psychedelics, you're opening up that porthole for yourself, and you're opening, and you're not able to control yourself unless you're in a really good controlled environment, or for yourself. Me personally, I don't do them because I have seizures that it feels like I'm going into, that a different field or a different dimension at that time. But I'm pretty sure that's probably what most people feel like. They feel like, they're out of body. They feel like they're hovering over themselves, or they see different spots or things. But you got to really watch out. Everybody's different though. So I would do research upon that, the auric field. See if you're able to control your own auric field. You start seeing if you can see your own. Start staring at the wall, clear white wall, or like at your hand. See if you put your hand in front of you, and it's in where the white is, and you just stare at it. But then you let your third eye, it just kind of drifts into that, and you'll be able to see your auric field, and you'll be able to process that softer, and be able to control your energy a little bit more. And when you do psychedelics and stuff, you'll be able to control that energy a little bit more, and you won't like you saw him go into like a fit like that. And you'll be able to teach other people how to do it. So it's just a process of practicing one thing at a time. I wouldn't try to do so many things right now. I would try to do one thing at a time, meditating for yourself, trying to ground yourself and protecting yourself at this point, and then advancing yourself into slower, steadier ways. Because like you said, during the last 2 years, you've blown your mind with all these psychedelics and everything. Take it slow, because energy is infinite. There's so much energy and so much knowledge out there. Just take it slow, as slow as you can. The process of healing. Listen to Trevor Hall. You can't rush your healing, and you'll completely understand. But that was my intake on it, because I get the you know, the shakes. So I understand when the entity is coming in.
Yeah,
But for me,
I get the shakes
yeah,
too, most definitely. Yep.
yeah. So
Um,
it's when an entity is trying to come in and you're not able to control yourself, and that's when you have to control and manage and ground. And it with those type of drugs and things, you just gotta really watch it. Just really,
yeah,
ground yourself. Make sure you're in the right state of mind.
def-
I've never done it, but
definitely.
I love seeing people do it.
Um,
Just take one
yeah,
thing at a time in your life, man.
most definitely. I agree with that 100%. I haven't, I really just, I found everything I needed out of psychedelics. And I don't plan on doing them anymore because I don't have a need to do them anymore. But it's just really interesting, like having those experiences and seeing what I saw, even like seeing the abilities that I actually have, like unlocking as well. I don't, actually, there's one other reason I was talking about this is because, um, with having those experiences, it was almost like I've had times where I could telepathically communicate with people,
Mhm.
um, to like tremendously amounts. Like it was super clear. And are these just abilities? Are they just unlocked through um, just finiting your energy, like centering and completely being in tune with your energy? Or how do these even
Oh, that's a really
transpire
good
without
question.
drugs?
Well,
That's a really good question.
you are
I
born
don't
with
know.
those skills, and from what I understand, you come to that you already know how to use them, and like you just said, by reaching higher levels, raising your frequency, and focusing the way you have been, you start to unlock those.
Mhm.
There's also some impediments if you have, which the classic term is ties that need to be cut.
Hmm.
You sometimes have to overcome that first to unlock all of your abilities, and that's my experience now. Other people may think differently.
Okay, I want to speak to one thing that I've heard a couple of times in here, and then it kind of bothers me, and it's about psychic hygiene. So if you're going to go into a state where you think you want to be connecting to the other side, I definitely recommend setting up, calling the quarters in, and above and below, and set up a protections ring around yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So that
That's
you're
what
not
Greg
going to
talks
get
about
any
that
of
a
that
lot.
negative
Mhm.
energy.
Right.
You
The
can have
white light coming down surrounds you. Yeah. What would you suggest, Phil, as an energy protector? Give us your interpretation of what you would protect yourself with.
Well, I work with the elementals. So it's
Okay.
the sylphs of the air, the fire
Mm-hmm.
drake, the undines of the waters, and the gnomes of the earth, or the
Okay.
dryads of the trees. Either one, they're all benign spirits that will protect you, especially if you're working with them and pay homage to them, that you are grateful to them.
I give thanks. Yes.
Give
Okay.
thanks. Yeah.
Yep.
Gratitude is key in this,
Key.
I'm going to say.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Definitely
Thank you.
something I've learned. Yeah, thank you. I've definitely learned how to bring light and hold the space, and especially when I'm going in meditations or going into even before sleep, I have Palo Santo, I have sage sometimes, I have crystals, um, and I've definitely learned that through experiences that you need to prepare before you even go into meditations or ceremonies or whatever you're doing. It's very important because there's energies everywhere around us, and you don't want specific energies um, like tampering with whatever you're doing.
I mean, they're generally not going to bother if you're a high energy because they can't really even see you. But if you've got any kind of, if you're coming from, say, work and you've had a bad day, definitely.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to be angry. That's for sure,
Do
Phil.
the sage, call the quarters in, call the God above and the Mother Earth below, and put yourself in that little bubble, and things should
Thank
be
you.
fine.
I found that the best one for me personally was Salvia divinorum because it's only like a 10-minute trip. And what Salvia does is like most hallucinogenics, it magnifies the psyche, and you know where you stand instantly, and you're out of it within 10 minutes anyway. So for the most part, you could feasibly do that where it's legal. Where it's legal, you can do that on your lunch break and go back to work, even if it's a half-hour lunch break, completely sober. But yeah, I find you'll see, if it within 10 minutes, those 10 minutes, you'll see people who need work psychically or not.
Do you
That
juice
would
it?
be way too open.
Greg, do you juice it?
Can you juice it?
I said, do you juice it?
Do you juice it? Mary wants to
You
know.
probably could, but it would be more considered a leaf. So
It's a leaf, right?
vegetable more
Yeah.
so than a fruit.
So you put it in with your fruit. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. And don't waste time
What a
putting it
great
in with
idea,
your
though.
Brussels sprouts.
Yes. Yeah.
Brussels sprouts.
Oh, come on, I like Brussels sprouts.
Sorry, I
Oh,
don't.
Phil, I should have known.
They have to be cooked, and they don't. No, raw.
No,
Raw.
I tried everything. I tried cutting the little centers out. I've tried soaking them. I've tried doing them with bacon. There's just no way. I cannot put another Brussels sprout in my mouth.
They're a tough one.
So here's something from that I do, and I'm just passing it on to you guys too. Meditation techniques, what to do before you meditate. As always, I'll leave links below. But I got this idea from my friend Miriam. I envision myself hugging the planet, sending complete unconditional love to the world. That's beautiful.
Nice.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
And
I had
we were
an
talking-
entire flock of geese here this morning after I did that. Yeah.
And we were
Cool.
talking about dream symbols earlier as well. And there's an article on N5D, the top 40 dream symbols. What I found is that a lot of dream dictionaries that you'll find are missing the metaphysical meanings of these dream symbols. So that's why I wrote this article. Especially, that was one of my favorite classes in college, was the psychology of dreams. But I noticed even in college they were missing that. So I did a top 40 dream symbol, and it goes that step further into the psychology of dreams.
That's super
metaphysical of
I use this
these
too.
dreams. So
It's a good
feel free
one. I got a funny story for you.
Okay.
I was wearing the quantum tie-dye t-shirt for the first time, and man, did I have some not unusual dreams, but I dreamt all night long. I mean, just one dream after the other. That's very unusual, because at the most I've ever had is 2 or 3 dreams that I can remember. But here's the funny part. When I woke up, what I was dreaming was, what are graphologists or professional cryptologists going to do now that nobody is learning how to do cursive? And that was what was on my brain. I mean, I woke up with this.
They can do it for me. I still will.
And the funny part was, I was genuinely concerned for them. It was like I had all this compassion for these poor graphologists, because they wouldn't be able to practice their art anymore. So,
well, yeah. I mean, my grandkids, nobody's teaching them how to do cursive. They would, if I wrote them something in cursive, they would never know what it meant.
My grandchildren can't.
Might as well be a code.
Can't read it either. So I blame it on the shirt.
But I have learned how to do alphabet code, because I had to. I was forced to by the young people to know what my little alphabet codes like are. By the way, BTW. Yeah, I have to frequently tell my husband and educate him on little codes.
So there we go, solving the world's problems.
So when you get to the point, Matthias, where you actually are enlightened, you'll get to the point where you're kind of enlightened. You start getting messages from your higher self, and you'll get like, and I don't want to call them prophecies. That sounds horrible. So, but I get words from spirit, and my spirit guides are usually pretty right on target, and they will start talking to you when you, as long as you go with the flow, your mind will start opening, and then you'll just know things. You'll get a word, and that's all you're going to need.
Okay.
So, yep, it'll be interesting.
What you just said reminds me, my brother, his name is Elijah. He has some very tremendous, I don't know how to put it. I feel like he's a seer. I don't know if you guys know what a seer is.
Yeah.
He is very open, but he doesn't necessarily know how to control his openness yet. But when I meditate with him, a couple of times, he has immediately went into downloads, and it's like I amplify his energy, or he amplifies off my energy. And because I can't see, usually when I go into meditations, I don't see visions, I just feel the energies. He sees visions very clearly. It's one after another. So he's seeing Egyptian gods, he's seeing deceased people, he's seeing the underworld, he's seeing these daemons or demons or whatever you want to call them, that are actually
Sam and Dean Winchester here.
they're channeling.
Sorry.
in
Sam and Dean Winchester.
yeah. Yeah, so they just, I feel like he's very open, and he needs to work on that. But people like that, they're very special, I believe, but they have lots of work to do to actually discover. I mean, because I feel like he doesn't have he has the capability, but he doesn't hold necessarily the intuitive like parts of himself as strongly as the others, which is kind of, in a way, I mean, I don't really know what to do, because he is so open that spirits are I already know spirits are inside of his aura, because I asked him and he's saying he has 1,000 thoughts, and I'm like, I think immediately, because I turned that off. I don't have any like constant thinking, chattering anymore. And I remember when I did, though, it's usually, I feel like they're thoughts, and they can be manipulated by emotions, by external things, especially if you're not mindful of it. But I feel like, I don't know really what to do to help him, because I've tried.
Great. I can tell you.
How old is he?
He is 19.
Okay.
So he's pretty young still.
Does he partake in partying?
No, not really.
Drinking?
He does smoke weed a lot.
Okay.
He does dabs and stuff, and I tell him, like, every day, I'm like, dude, that's opening you up. You're already open. You're already very open, dude. But,
I'm kind of feeling, though, that in some way, it might not be right now, but some way down the road, you and him are supposed to be working together.
Yeah, I was going to say that too.
I got that.
Like
I got
point-
that.
Supernatural. Sam and Dean Winchester.
dude, guys, I have
grounding definitely.
Yeah.
The channel, he needs to ground.
Definitely. I gave him some crystals too for that. But I have three brothers, and they're all very not like anyone else either. But they all have lots of karmic work, I believe, and lots of deep things that they need to work on. One of my brothers, he's had this. I know he has special abilities too, but they have this work, and I don't know if they just kind of go into avoidance sometimes of like doing everything they can to avoid working on that, whether it's because it's a shadow part of himself that they're afraid of or whatnot. But
there's no hiding, though. Eventually it's going to come out, and they're going to have to confront it.
I've told them that, and I'm like, this energy that's happening right now is going to reveal everything. There's going to be no hiding. So I'd say it's going to be easier for you to face it right now rather than it being Godzilla monster, towering over you.
Right. And Matthias, you are right. There is a major energy coming. I mean, it is like overwhelming, and nothing can stop it. So
definitely,
the more prepared everybody is, the easier it'll be. It's because it's going to really blow a lot of people's minds. So, I mean, I can't tell exactly what it is, but I can feel it coming. So,
I can definitely feel it too. Yeah.
Yep.
Most definitely.
Just a quick
May I make a
introduction.
suggestion?
It's funny. I was just going to say, is your name Jenna? I wanted to bring you into the conversation, and here
Thank
you
you.
are.
Gina, yeah.
Gina,
This was too much for me. I've been sitting here really quietly, but yeah, thank you for inviting me in. I was just going to say, I have a really clear feeling about your brother. He needs to be out in nature. He needs to get some time out sitting amongst nature. And you're in Colorado, which is obviously a very good place. And I know it's probably not great weather there right now, but I think grounding with trees and just nature spirit and things like that, and really using the strong earth energy to ground him and to allow and asking for that to asking for the protection and also the transmutation through the earth energy for him.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
He goes to work with these people who are influencing him negatively or not in the right way. They smoke, they drink while they're working. I mean, I think he does a construction job right now. I mean, they're doing these things. They call him names, and he's literally told me, he's come home, he's told me, one of my coworkers is a demon. And I'm like, how do you know that? And he's just, because they've just been telling me, they've been bashing me. And I mean, he's very smart. I see his higher self some of the times, but when his energy is blocked, he kind of goes into that, like, just mind, like, chatter. That's not even him. I've seen his higher self,
Yeah, he's very fortunate to have you, and I mean, it's a beautiful bond that you have, and you're going to be a very strong guide for him. I feel, you both are very, very powerful, and you've got a really powerful job to do, work to do on this planet together, and you're both still learning, obviously, but you guys are our teachers as well, so much, because you come in knowing so much already, and I really want to acknowledge that deeply for you both. So he just really needs some really connecting back into the earth, and I just feel that so strongly, and you giving him crystals and things like that is really good, and just teaching him about that will really help. So anything, stones, rocks, whatever you can get your hands on, sticks, anything.
Yeah, he's actually invested into Palo Santo too, so which is good for clearing the energy.
It is.
But
absolutely,
I definitely think he definitely needs to, I don't know how to necessarily, because I'm not him, but how to necessarily prevent the openness so much, and not prevent it, but have ability to control over it, or to shield from energies trying to get into his aura. And I don't necessarily know how to have him strengthen his aura if he's not totally connected to his higher self, so he doesn't have like the willfulness to do that. But
he's not quite there yet, so he's going through all of those things. I mean, you can lead a horse to water, obviously, and it is what it is, and you're a guide, and I'm not, and it's really hard because we can't necessarily tell other people what to do. If they ask, we can give guides, obviously, and he's finding his own way. So I guess you're leading by example is the big thing for him, because at some point he's going to click and get it at some point.
I think so, definitely.
Just a quick story here. When my daughter came in, she was incarnated, basically. She was conceived on my 33rd birthday. And there was a soul contract that she had, and at the time I was it was in my first marriage. I was pretty much a barfly. I was, playing in pool leagues, just drinking and playing, just not on my path. We'll put it that way. And that was part of her soul contract with me was, if I'm not where I need to be, I'm coming in and I'm going to give you a kick in the butt. And so, the following year she's born, and here she is 25 years later.
Cool.
I'm feeling though that for Matthias, you're in the same boat as with what my daughter did for me. You're doing for your brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Because you said, well, if they're not going to be on their soul path, and you knew ahead of time that they'd probably go a little stray, they're going to have some issues and bumps in the road and whatever, that you would come in. And that's probably why you're here too, as part of your soul contact with your brothers. And chances are you're probably an older soul than your older brothers.
Absolutely.
Matthias,
Absolutely.
if I could just jump in there real quick, and just speaking from my own personal experience, what you were saying about your brother, I used to be the same exact way. And, hearing all the different voices and seeing all the different images and knowing that there's something a lot more that's going on, but I just couldn't understand it at the time. What got me through it was just some open-mindedness and like a universal slap in the face. Like, I can't ignore this. I have to figure it out. It really kind of speaks to my soul what you're saying about your brother, because I was in that same situation for a long time. And you're looking for, a way to help him. And what somebody said, you can't open up a cocoon and expect the butterfly to mature correctly. Some things have to take place first within themselves in order to fully mature. Like, I know for me, I went through hell and back. Like, I literally did. I went to Iraq twice and I still didn't learn my lesson. I kept putting myself out there. And then you started saying that he's working this job and the people are treating him poorly and stuff. And it's like, I just want to grab him. I don't know your brother. I don't even know you, Matthias, but I just want to grab him like, hey, you're doing it to yourself, bro. You're literally doing it to yourself, and that's that's what I wanted to share. I hope that resonates with you.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, he's very powerful. He doesn't fully recognize it yet, but man, I see he just manifests. He's like, if he was to come in with himself and to align with himself, if all my brothers were to, and we were to come together and create something, it would be so amazing, because these, especially Eli, he can just manifest, and it's like abundance. It's like, you know what I mean? And, he's said before that, he wants to get out of that job, and he's actually doing this snow shoveling thing right now. He doesn't have a license for it yet, but he's planning on getting one. But he's making a lot of money because it's been snowing here lately. And he wants to open that business, but, I've told him, he doesn't fully have connection to his heart, which today he told me he doesn't feel any energy here. He said he doesn't feel that. And I was like, well, he says he wants to make a lot of money. It's the American dream to make a lot of money, get a nice house, have a family, and provide for them, right? Which in theory sounds great, but when you actually have that, you're still going to feel the same. And he doesn't really...
That's one thing that I've learned also on my journey when it comes to manifestation. I've realized I can totally manifest an elephant, but what are you going to do with the elephant once you have it there? You know what I'm saying? And I've been screwing my life up this whole time until I finally surrendered to it and started realizing that I do have that power. And now I'm just so careful about what I think about, what I do, what I think, all that stuff, and you know, what you're saying about your brother, you know, and that's what everybody in America is going through right now. We just want money. We just, because money is, we reap what we sow. So we sow the seeds of manifestation, and we're reaping the money, but it turns out the money is really not that good. You know, imagine if you won like a $20 million lawsuit, how many people are going to start coming after you to take that money away from you? You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
There's goods and bads when it comes to manifestation. And that's why it's really important to focus on I mean, screw it. Be a narcissist if you have to. Think about yourself first, you know, think about what makes you feel good. And then how you can spread, first you make yourself feel good, and then you spread that goodness to all the people around you.
Exactly,
And that's I'm not going to say it's perfect manifestation, but it's definitely a good path. You know, you don't just do it for yourself, you're doing it for everybody, you know, spreading the love. You know, I think that's you could slap me in the face if I'm off base here, but I think that's probably part of his problem.
Oh no, that you were saying, doing it for everybody. I mean, we're all connected. So yes, that's exactly, you hit the nail on the head, John. You're doing it for everybody. When you feel good about yourself and you put your light out there and you share, and when you read people and you know that they need that, it's like for the greater good. I mean, that's really what you're doing. That's really what you're doing, is like leading by example, and that's really how you're contributing to the planet. So yeah.
Because how are you going to heal anyone else if you aren't healed yourself? And that's what we need to deprogram from ourselves, because we've had this social engineering since we were children that tells us we need to always be doing something for someone else, and it's selfish if we do it for ourselves. But then we start neglecting ourselves, and then we feel like shit every single day of our lives, and we think our lives pointless, and we're just doing this job every day, and there's no other meaning just because we don't have connection to ourselves.
Right, Matthias.
That's
you have to love yourself first. You cannot share the love if you cannot feel it within yourself first.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah.
Heal yourself, heal the world.
Right.
It's self-love. Self-love is the love. It's not selfish, it is self-love. And from self-love, there is joy, there is creativity, there is passion, there is everything in this life. And that is what we're here to be that light and to really share that. And that's what emanates out and creates that, because we all touch one another, obviously.
We all have that well.
Light. Yeah.
We all have that well from which we draw the water. But if the waters are polluted, then what are we feeding everybody else who comes into contact with us? Purify the water, and you purify what you're feeding everybody else.
And you know, abundance is everything. You know, it's not just money. It's an abundance of joy. It's an abundance of creativity. It's an abundance of nature. You know, it is all of those things. So
those
looking at
most
abundance in another way is, you know, money is part of that. It is it's creativity. So
it's a tool.
Yeah, I think we change that whole perception as money as being bad, you know, and it is, we draw. He obviously doesn't have that perception. He's obviously very good at drawing in and creating. So, yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So sharing from that perspective of abundance and seeing everything as abundant, seeing life as abundant, and the beauty in life as abundant is the whole thing, and that's where it comes from.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Sarah, I see you in the chat. My mom actually, she's been doing human design for probably 15 years, I think, or 12 to 15 years now. And yeah, she's actually a teacher in that. So I know exactly what you're talking about. It's very interesting. I'm actually a projector, energy projector. Yeah. So I'm I think a 1-3 for that. So wait to be recognized.
I actually know a couple people that when they only work like a month and a half a year. That's all they need to do. One person owns a Christmas tree service where he's cuts out, he has all these people that bring him Christmas trees. He sets up on a lot in Pennsylvania, hires his family to help him sell, and to other different areas as well. Does that for like 6 weeks a year. That's all he does. Makes a good living doing it. Another person, all they do is work probably 4 months or 4 weeks a year at Halloween, selling Halloween costumes in like mall parking lots and like these big kiosk tents and outside at a mall parking lot here in Florida. So, 1 month a year. That's what great ideas these people have. The opportunities out there where you can actually do something like that. Anyone can do silly little things like that, and basically work 1 month, have 11 months off. Good for them.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, totally. Work
That's
to live.
kind of what my brother does. I mean, he started this snow shoveling business, and who would have thought you could have made $100 or $500 a day doing snow shoveling? Like, that's better than most people make with a college degree.
Oh yeah, we always pay anybody that comes by to offer to shovel. We're
Yeah.
like, okay, whatever, go. Yeah, that's great. There's a
great as
lot
long
of
as you have
people who
snow.
really need that job. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, who really
Everyone.
need that done. We do. We always need that done. I mean, Colorado.
Yeah.
Too bad I
Just
live
go
in
down
South
one
Texas.
street and make $100 probably. So yeah.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I think we're going to probably wrap it up right now because we've been on almost 3 hours again.
Oh, thank you, Greg.
And
I
time
didn't
always
want anybody
goes
to
by
see
so
me because I was
quickly.
in my pajamas. So thank you.
So, like I said, on Monday, we're going the 10th, we're going to be bringing back Andy Monk and talking more about fruitarianism. I got some more questions I'd like to ask Andy then. And at the end of the month, I'll be bringing on Adrian Goff on Wednesday, February 26th, to talk about crystals and gemstones. And you guys, like I said, if you know her, you love her, and if you don't, you will.
Cool.
She's
Thank
amazing.
you very much. Thank you.
And then I just want to, as always, just stop over to n5d.net. Got like 50 new shirts in there, so check that out, and check out N5D Patreon.
Are you making a long sleeves one yet?
Not yet. No, but I did. I just, the last 3-4 days, I made like 50 shirts, and they're amazing.
Cool.
So I'm really happy how they turned out. But probably will be on. I'm not sure when next, because I've got the meetup sometime this weekend here in Sarasota between Sology and N5D. Going to be meeting up at the beach. So probably not going to be broadcasting much from there, not the whole thing, but maybe a little of it. So look forward to that. And I guess I'm just going to leave it off there. I'm just so grateful for everyone that has joined us. Our new people that came in today are, so grateful that you found your voices to come on and join in, and feel free to stop back more often and join us as well. And for our regulars as well, you guys are all family, and for everyone that's on YouTube right now that are introverts and are not coming on here with us, not showing their faces. We get it. We're all introverts. Most of us are. So we all get it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
To you guys.
Have a good night.
Thank you, everyone.
Good night.
Love you, Angie. Thank you, Matthias, for sharing.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you,
Appreciate all the
Matthias.
knowledge. Thank you. Appreciate it with my heart.
Gave me great hope, Matthias. For the
Yes, indeed. So until the next time, I'm sending you all infinite love and light.
Thank you.
Next time, namaste. I love you all.
Love you.
Yeah.
Well, good night.
Okay. Where's the thing?